The college football experience week 10 preview and picks episode. The Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up. And when you do, sign up with the promo code TCE SGPN. You get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college football and NFL with Rhythm. Get your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride. Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience week 10 preview and picks episode. Let that music keep playing. It's fantastic. YouTube.com/the college experience. I don't have a soundboard, so this might play the whole episode. No, here we go. Soundboard out of commission tonight, so don't expect the triple lock music. I don't want to lock anything with these bastards anyway. But folks, youtube.com/the college experience. We're breaking down week 10 college football, every single game despite the games tonight. I'm in New Orleans, style and profile. I do feel like Ric Flair, and I'd be lying to you if I didn't have a few of these cocktails on these beautiful streets as I'm walking around.
Oh man!
If you only look like them.
Well, trust me, the good people in New Orleans know that I feel like them because I've been screaming at things. All right, I've been having a good old time. I pet a horse that was walking by. All right, that's just part of the fun. I had a fucking dark and stormy. Said hello to a guy with the fucking parrot on his shoulder. I've done a lot of stuff in the few hours I've been in New Orleans. So
I can get on board with the dark and stormy. What's the rum in that? It's the special
Myers, little Myers dark. Yeah, let's go. You know who might need a drink? Well, first, I guess I should introduce myself. But if you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick. I am also joined by, look, it's so I feel naked without my music. I'm also joined by give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi. Oh. You know what this reminds me of?
What's
you
that?
ever seen Pick of Destiny, Tenacious D? I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but they're like a two-man duo, right? And one of them leaves, and he's playing the song, like he plays his part, and then there's like this awkward pause where the guy should be, and everyone's just waiting for it. That's every time we do an intro here.
Yeah, I mean, like music's a big part of my life. Look, I went and saw some jazz earlier. I mean, music makes the college experience. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
All right.
Big part of
I thought it was our personalities.
Yeah, no, definitely not. When you're in college,
music masks our personalities.
When you're in college, whether you're enrolled or not, you're gonna go check out music. I feel like that's the peak era of just going to explore music. Sometimes you ever look back at your college days or that era and just say, man, we were listening to some fucking horrible music. You know what I mean? But it worked.
I'll speak for yourself.
It worked. Now, I was listening to some good music too, but there was some horrible music. There was some horrible music out there.
Yeah.
I just, you know, there's, I think everyone can relate to this where you were just, you go to meet somebody and, you know, whether it's friends or whether it's a gal that you're interested in. And next thing you know, you find yourself at a concert. You're like, and you know, you're having a few cocktails, trying to get laid. And, you know, you're just, maybe you're enjoying Dave Matthews more than you really are. You know, maybe you're enjoying whatever than you really are.
I was a DMB fan back in the day, back in the 90s.
Well, I'm just saying, whoever.
I'll own it.
We had
That's how you
Limp
end up
Bizkit
in
the
Raleigh.
chat. Dude, that's status quo for a Dave Matthews
That's right.
fan. You're saying?
That's right.
I mean, he's from Charlottesville. Okay, Mr. UVA fan.
True. Fair enough.
I'm crazy about you. Oh,
by the way, Colby, Gosling's rum is the official Dark and Stormy rum, not Myers. Gosling. I had to look it up because I forgot.
Well, I didn't watch them concoct this drink today. I just drank the shit out of it. But we're joined by third man in the booth. He does have a deep knowledge of Dark and Stormies. Give it up for the DFS god himself, the rooftop IPA drinking, home brew making, tobacco road living, the free lot giving, farmer heard the basketball league MVP. Get up for NC Nick in the place to be.
There we go. What's up, guys?
Dude, it's just the no music thing's huge.
It seems kind of quiet. It seems like we need to bring more energy, more than usual.
Yeah.
We need Colby to sing more. Colby, why don't you sing for us a little bit?
I don't know if that's the
that will look. That'll look. I can't
say
how many times. Can't say how many times I've had an acoustic guitar and I started singing, and women all came around to hear me sing.
Over the years, we've had some hilarious episodes where one of us or more than one of us has been hammered. I remember there was one or two with Patty and Colby. I remember there was one where I came back from like a happy hour.
Oh yeah.
So maybe this is one of them. Maybe Colby is going to be in rare form tonight.
New Orleans, brother. Look, you know who needs a drink besides me? It's Mike Bloomgren, Rice's head coach. Previously Rice's head coach, because he got fired. He's gone. He's out of here. He got the Owls to a couple bowl games the past couple years. NC Nick, you surprised by that news?
A little bit, because they did kind of turn a corner and they were solid the last couple years. And I thought they were playing a little bit better football the last couple of weeks this year, even though they got off to a slow start. Rice is a very small university. I'm sure they don't have a ton of money for football. They're kind of like Wake Forest of the G5. So I'm a little surprised. Yes.
They need to be running the triple, not overthink it. Patty C, what do you make of what happened there, and who should they turn to, you think? I know Mike Houston at Rice in Houston makes sense if they miss field goals and total teams being unprepared, but
wouldn't be the first former JMU coach that went down to Texas and failed there. That was at Everett Withers after JMU. So I don't know, maybe the good folks of Texas aren't into that. Bloomgren, I would have thought, that was a stupid firing. But if you look right before him, David Bailiff got Rice up to 10 wins back in 2013. Shocked
that was when they had Jarrett Dillard, the receiver, and he was a quarterback. Colby.
Dog. He was a dog. Receiver was good. Who was?
No, Dillard was a receiver.
No. I'm saying their quarterback was good. You're fucking with me here.
Who was the quarterback? Oh man.
It wasn't an accident either. 3 straight bowls for him. And then the guy almost directly before him, Todd Graham, was there for 1 year, but Ken Hatfield got him to 8 wins. So I guess the ceiling's higher than I thought.
Todd Graham's been a lot of places for 1 year.
That's true.
What year was that, Patty
Best
C?
Buy as a manager. What year did they go 10-4? 2013.
Yeah. 2013. The quarterback was Mick Hargue. That doesn't ring a bell.
No,
under the radar.
They had a fire quarterback there at some point.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank on it. I remember him though.
Oh,
but not the time to ask me after 6 dark and stormy, some jazz music and a fireball shot. Not the best time to recall.
Database is a little jumbled.
Now, guys, last week, the coaches that got fired, those 2 teams got that 1 week bump, if I'm not mistaken, and they went 2-0 ATS. ECU and Southern Miss both covered, right?
I tried to bring you along for ECU, but you guys were filthy cowards. Didn't know that they were going to just have just offense. That was the most points ECU scored while they're in the American. So since
does Rice get the same bump this year? I mean, this week? That's the question.
Well, we need a phrase for this. We have tragic magic, which is, performing well after some unfortunate tragedy, but post firing, 1 game immediately following a firing. I think Nick,
should we just call the fire bump?
The fireball.
Fireball. I just said I did a fireball shot.
I said fire bump, but fireball.
Yeah,
Fireball isn't exactly a play on words.
No. Whatever.
We'll work on it. We're not razor sharp right now on our
backdraft. Let's go. Get that old backdraft there.
I think fire. Oh yeah, firing. Yeah. I see what you're doing. A little backdraft.
There's a fucking fire movie called Backdraft. That's remember they had that ride at. This is a great story. That they had it at Universal Studios in Hollywood, and it burnt down. You remember that?
That's great.
That was great. The whole park was closed because the Backdraft thing burnt fucking down. Fantastic stuff. Folks, we're just getting started. Don't worry. I made slides at 4 a.m. at a hotel at an Econo Lodge in Lake Charles, Louisiana, which is definitely a fine city if you get out there. Anyway, I mean, what is the best hire Rice could do? Rolovich, I think, makes a lot of sense, but I think they should be running the triple though, man. I really think it's the best they could do.
Patty C always says that Texas teams can't defend the triple option. So Rice being in Texas, playing a lot of Texas teams, that would make sense.
I would agree that is definitely the definition of zigging while everyone else is zagging. I think Texas abandoned, the option long ago. But despite being one of the pioneers of it, I would say what has worked at other programs, whether it be Texas State with G.J. Kinney or UTSA with, God, I'm drawing a blank on his name again.
Jeff Trailer.
Yeah, go get the best high school coach in the state and some guy who's going to be able to recruit like a mofo, and you have him for about 5 years until someone snags him, and you're a stepping stool job. And in Texas, the coaches are so good that they can be elite and cutting edge even at the college level when you bring them up. So try that out.
I just think if you're Rice, you look at what Vanderbilt's doing. They're basically running the triple, right, out of the gun. Maybe you do that. But to me, the Vanderbilt has that same handicap that you have, or Dave Clawson at Wake, but Wake's even that's teetered off some because Rice's academics, you're not going to be able to be super active in the portal. So
I still think that is probably got to be considered the
Chase Clement. That's it in the chat. John got it right.
Nice pull.
Chase Clement.
44 touchdowns and 4,000.
Finer.
Finer. Yeah, very nice.
Call, John.
A lot finer than we are with his stats.
Speaking of Texas head coaches, G.J. Kinney better watch out if he drops 2 straight games to ODU and Louisiana because they're down, 14-6 right now. And I know a couple of us bet on the Bobcats. Looking pretty iffy right now.
Yeah. I mean, they were up 6-0 there as I was slamming back Dark and Stormies. But my favorite score right now is the 3-2 not World Series game. No, I mean the Louisiana Tech Sam Houston game going on right now in the second. FIU, I bet FIU. They're up 17-6 in the third. Big, I'd say this is like a must-win game for McIntyre. So we got all that going on. We're going to start with Wednesday's action, folks. People are asking about, did I stop by the Golden Nugget? Of course I did. That's where we stayed. The Golden Nugget there at Lake Charles, Louisiana. Fantastic establishment. So check that out if you're ever in the area. Glad to see. Also, we have the chat talking about Chris Penn joining the show today. The resurrection is here. Folks, I want to tell you that first off, thank you for listening all these years or all these weeks or all these, maybe it's the first time listening. Thank you for listening to the College Football Experience. If you can head over to Spotify and give us a 5-star rating, we'd certainly appreciate it. Only you can help prevent corporate gambling from taking over. So hop on over there and do that. And remember, as always, folks, too, let it ride. All right, we are back and ready to. There we go. 40 subscribers away from 12,000.
Boom.
All
right.
Is that good?
No one.
Depends who you ask.
I think Joe Rogan just had DT on his podcast. That might have a couple more likes than us.
Yeah, or dislikes.
Look,
depending on who you ask.
What his job as a president, politician, businessman, whatever, a completely different story than his job as a football owner. So based on what him ruining the USFL the first time around, don't know that we necessarily appreciate him on this podcast.
I don't appreciate really anyone that destroys football. And, at first I was on board because he created the USFL. And I said, this guy's got it going. And then after, they're about to be, first off, if you do a deep dive on that too, he was the one like saying we need to go up against the NFL on Sundays.
What? I think if they could do it today, then I would agree because someone needs to go up against the NFL.
No,
it's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea for a business.
It won't work. It won't work.
I apologize for bringing it up.
You know what? Maybe we should start doing our live show at 1 p.m. Eastern during NFL Sundays and see how our numbers are.
Yeah.
All right.
Look at that. No, it's just helping us out here, right? Sorry.
Pushing this thing right along.
We got the Flamin' Libs. Blue, the color blue, like it's actually the hottest of the flame. So you got the Flaming Libs with the blue there in the logo, youtube.com/the college experience. They're coming off a loss as a 27.5 point favorite.
Yeah, not exactly the hottest team.
Yeah. They come back to Lynchburg, Virginia, Williams Stadium there as Rich Rod, red hot. These Gamecocks are coming into the Flamin' Libs home. Can they outflame the Flaming Libs, Patty C? Liberty's laying 2, the over under at 63.5. I can tell you this, I'm on the Flamin' Libs to bounce back. I think the stadium, this is like the best home environment in the CUSA. And I think that's all the difference. Give me like a 31-28 type of game. Liberty gets it done. Patty C, what are you doing here?
I'm all over Jacksonville State. Liberty, if we didn't learn last week from Kennesaw, they are not that good. I mean, Kennesaw, obviously, you could say it's a look-ahead spot, but Jacksonville State the offense is there. It took a little while for them to put up the points, but eventually they did. The running game was stellar. I think it was like 200 yards last week from the running back position. Huff, I think, put up 150 from the quarterback position. It's looking like vintage Rich Rod for Jacksonville State. And meanwhile, Liberty yet to prove it. The fact that they're even favored, I think, is completely wrong, but it's only a 2-point spread. So money line, the payout's presumably not too huge, but Jacksonville State on the money line. So lock that one up.
Lock. I don't have lock music, so
I completely agree with the one and only Patty C. Am I supposed to believe Liberty is supposed to like automatically wake up because they lost a game? Are we forgetting that they just barely beat FIU, barely beat New Mexico State? These are bad teams, and then they lose to another bad team in Kennesaw. Maybe Liberty isn't all that good. I think at this point, more than halfway through the season, that's my conclusion at least. Meanwhile, Jacksonville State is red hot, and they're going to win this game. They're going to go in there, and I'm going to block it up with Patty C.
Oh, buddy, lock battle. Fuck you. And look, you act like Jacksonville State's run through some gauntlet. They took on they first off, they lost to Eastern Michigan, who just lost to Akron.
That was before they had turned a corner.
Okay, well, turning the corner might just be the fact you played Southern Miss, Kennesaw State, New Mexico State, and Middle Tennessee. I think you guys are just full of shit over there. You're going to come into the most toxic environment in the CUSA.
Who the fuck has Liberty played?
East Carolina and beat them.
They're going bowling. They just fired their coach because they were that shitty.
We got high standards. All right. We got really high standards over there. So,
how do you see if you ever want to pull out a tuck job, now's your time.
I'm sure there are plenty of head-to-head matchups. I don't know though. I mean,
we could start with Kennesaw. We could talk about New Mexico State. Teams that Jacksonville State won by like 40 points against.
Yeah, I mean, do you 54 to 13 for
in Jacksonville, Alabama,
and then 30 to 24 in for Liberty
in Jacksonville, Alabama.
Okay, so
now you got to go to the most toxic road environment.
Dude, you need to see it? They're just not that good this year. I don't know. In fact, it does make me a little concerned for Jamie Chadwell's future job prospects because what had been kind of an unstoppable offense for him. They can't seem to get it going. Caden Salter's still there. So maybe the surrounding talent's not as good, or maybe that thing's just getting figured out. I don't know.
Well, I'll see you on the battlefield. All right.
Fair enough.
You two scumbags are going down. All right. All right. I don't care if you
feel like we had this conversation last week. How'd that work out?
Colby, why don't you go jerk off in the corner, okay?
I will with my Jerry Falwell. Look, I'm in New Orleans. He's probably done it here in New Orleans. If I had to wager, but
plenty of pool boys down there to smash his wife.
Let's keep it.
They had to choose a pool boy too. That's the best part. But
the best part was the best part was hearing his side of it. He's like, so some chicks like invited me, and then next thing you know, like I'm being a part of this. Like they're flying me everywhere, and I'm just having sex with this guy's wife. And he's the victim, by the way. Anyway, Kennesaw State is at Bowling Green, Kentucky, taking on the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Can the magic continue, Patty C? Me, I'm not buying it. It's chalky. It's a chalky Wednesday. I'm laying the 24 with Western Kentucky there. But I don't love this play. This is actually one that I haven't bet this yet because I just don't really have a good feel for this game. I lean. No, I can't say lean. I side with Western Kentucky. All right. I push Western Kentucky forward in this. Do
you veer towards the Hilltoppers?
Yeah, I veer towards the Hilltoppers here. But can't say that I love laying 24 with the Hilltoppers team that I just don't think is that great.
Well, the funny thing about this game is that obviously Vegas doesn't value Kennesaw's win over your almighty Liberty last week. If they go in and beat an undefeated team and they turn around and they're 24-point dogs the following week, and the fact that you're on Western Kentucky doesn't make any much sense either. So I'm going to take Kennesaw. Too many points.
Patty C?
It is a little bit concerning looking at previous weeks that the level of competition that Kennesaw brings is probably, I saw a metric today that was, I guess, essentially the overall quality of the team, and UTEP and Kennesaw were right there toward the bottom. Obviously, they here's a tucked up 24-point win for UTEP against for Western Kentucky against UTEP. So that's exactly what the spread is projecting against Kennesaw. I believe it. Number 27 passing offense versus the number 92 passing defense. I'm not touching it because I think it's just about right. It could go either way, but I would go Western Kentucky barely.
Let's go tops, buddy. I mean, look, there's only 2 games on, so we're gonna have to bet this. But it's just, I don't feel amazing about this game.
I feel much more confident in Jacksonville State than I do Kennesaw.
Yeah, I feel much more confident in the Flaming Libs.
Maybe Kennesaw figured something out last week, because they kind of dominated that game. Well, matter of fact,
or maybe
Liberty dressed it up.
Maybe Liberty just isn't that good.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Or Jacksonville State's not that good because they beat a bunch of trash. All right,
those are all the possible outcomes.
Yeah, and that's life in college football right now. Look, let's jump over to Thursday's action.
Halloween.
Yes.
Patty C, what are you dressing up as?
Ooh, I don't know.
Chris Penn?
Biff Poggi?
Yeah, Chris Penn. Yeah. No, what's Chris Penn's best performance? What was the one in Rush Hour where he's like
it's Reservoir Dogs. Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah. Okay. You know what I liked him in? I didn't even realize it was him till later. When I was a kid, what's the one where he's like the fighter with
Best of the best.
Yeah,
best of the best.
Amazing.
They only made 7 of them. Of course,
he wasn't in all 7 though.
Of course, Chris Penn was too big for best of the best 5.
Yeah,
number 4 was okay, but when
it
went to 5,
the dude was like 180.
When it went to 5, it crossed the line for him.
Everybody's got their breaking point.
Folks, we got a barn burner Thursday night as the Green Wave of Tulane head to the Clit to take on the Charlotte 49ers and Biff Poggi. They've never played, and the line is definitely off here. Tulane's laying 16.5. Disregard that slide that I made. Total at 55.5. Give me the Clits to keep this somewhat close on Halloween. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I'm going to say it's too much as well. I mean, Charlotte was up in the fourth quarter, 28-24 against Memphis. And although I think Tulane is a much more complete team than Memphis, that shows me that the 49ers are fighting. You know, they're playing decent football right now. Just overlook that Navy game. I'm going to take the home dog on Halloween also. Let's go.
Patty?
I would say that I forget the word I'm looking for without having a direct stat. From what I've seen,
Je ne sais quoi.
The je ne sais quoi. Basically what I've seen from Charlotte is that they're a physical football team, and that's probably a result of Biff Pocci, his influence. That with them banging with Memphis, I don't know how many weapons Memphis has on the edge. Obviously, Seth Hennigan, a great quarterback, but I still think just from a physicality standpoint, they matched up well, and Charlotte probably wasn't getting blown away by Memphis's weapons. Tulane, on the other hand, has speed on the edges, and it's been apparent in a bunch of their games. So I think they have enough to really carve up Charlotte. So I got Tulane covering 16.5.
The disrespect. Thursday night, we also got a heater in the FCS. The MEAC giving us the winner of this is going to have the inside track on the conference. Central is laying 3 in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Series goes back to 1971, as far as I could tell. I actually think it goes back further, but the data out there is tough to decipher. Trey Oliver and Central have been beast for a long time. So I lean Central here on the road in Orangeburg, but
no, you don't. You sway towards Central.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I sway towards Central. This is a bad idea after several cocktails.
Perhaps you teeter towards Central.
Yeah, there needs to be like a buzzer sound effect anytime anyone says the word lean. Apparently.
Yeah. I jump
forbidden
over
word.
I jump over to NC Central here. As I think they are the better team, but I'm kind of fascinated. But this is the best game on Thursday night, folks. NC Nick, what are you doing here in Orangeburg, South Carolina?
You know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going with Durham, North Carolina. It's NC Central, dude. Walker Harris, he's playing good football at quarterback. You would be maybe surprised to see a white kid playing quarterback for NC Central, but he's playing good ball. And as is Eric Phoenix, the quarterback of South Carolina State. But I'm going with my Eagles of NCC.
The Eagles fly high in Orangeburg. Let's go. Patty C, what are you doing here?
Third straight home game for South Carolina State. That's nice. Both of these teams have major, scoring potential. But NC Central's hit 60 plus twice. And South Carolina State's hit it in their most recent game, 69. So I expect a shootout here. But on Halloween in Orangeburg, give me South Carolina State, the home team.
Yeah, let's go. Shout out to R. Wright. He goes, why can you guys not lean towards picks? Don't tell me those two dudes are telling you such. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, look, we are a part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, and those are our pals, but
they're also our managers who sign our checks.
Yeah, detail.
And they also pick a little 16 games and their little phony little NFL bullshit. You know what I mean? They got to declare it. They got to declare it just like their onside kick. They're fucking lame ass fucking league. All right. So, yeah, it's a little different when you're picking we pick like 250 games a weekend on the college football experience and wait for college basketball to start. Which by the way, folks, Noah Beanick, Moneyline Mac holding it down on that front. And we go live,
go Duke.
Sunday night, the college basketball experience begins their journey to, capping every single game. In the Monday's the season, folks. If you didn't know, but anyway, that's why. All right, appreciate you though. Continuing on this Dirty Friday, let's stay on the FCS front. We got a barn burner between two of the better teams in the Ivy. Yes, Yale and Columbia. The series goes back to 1872. Patty C, who was the president of the United States in 1872?
Millard Fillmore. I have no idea. It was the first name.
Maybe it was Martin Van Buren, the quarterback in Mississippi State.
1872. I mean, I try to think with the cut, like, okay, when did the Civil War end, guys?
68, yeah, somewhere in there.
So you're telling me they had Stonewall Jackson at fullback, or no? What happened here?
Sounds to me like more of a linebacker, but maybe I'm thinking Michael Stonebreaker for Notre Dame. I don't know.
Yeah,
great
nice
pull.
Let's see, 1872.
You think Ulysses S. Grant played QB?
Grant? No, Grant was a linebacker.
He's a good general. He could be the general of the offense.
Apparently, Ulysses says Grant was an alcoholic, so we would have had a good time with him on the old college experience.
That was my favorite part about Meryl Streep's rant on football being horrible. You know what I mean? Like, remember that a couple of years ago in the Oscars? Like, meanwhile, you got Harvey Weinstein and they're protecting Epstein and everyone's fucking little kids on islands, and she's coming at football, right? And then she's doing a film, probably. She's probably doing a film by what's his name, Jack Kerouac, or what's the fucking Baltimore guy, the Ravens, Edgar Allan Poe. Those are college football players. Those are former college football players. Give it up for the college football players. All right.
But the good thing moving away from LA is that nobody gives a shit about the Oscars, in the whole rest of the country. So
yeah, there is a great steakhouse in Vegas called Oscars. If you ever get a chance to go, that's what we refer to moving forward. Yale is laying 6.5 in Manhattan.
Hey guys, by the way, Weehawk in the YouTube chat says that the word cock is in the thesaurus for another option for lean.
Oh man.
Yeah, all right. Well, look, when it comes to this game,
we're gonna have so much cocks. Yeah, so many cocks every episode.
I cocked to Yale going into Manhattan and getting it done. But that's a lot of points. It's a lot of points for two solid football teams. But I'm going to trust that Yale's product. And Columbia's been living with a little bit of a fantasy there. So I'm going to lay the points, and I'm going to cock with Yale. NC Nick, what are you doing there?
I agree. I think I figured Yale last week, and they whipped the shit out of Penn. So they made me a believer. I'm on Yale.
Let's go. Patty C, I know you're excited about this one.
Oh yeah, super hyped up. I don't know. This is tough. Both of these teams could easily be almost undefeated. I guess Yale got whooped by Cornell, but other than that, their only game was a 1-point loss, and Columbia's only 2 losses were both by 3 points. So pretty great football being played here in the Ivy League. Too many points for Yale. Give me Columbia to cover 6.5.
Yeah, and I just spilled my beer, but yeah. Next we go over to the other game, Georgia State, UConn, the wrench. We got 2. It's Friday's a big night for Connecticut football with Yale and then UConn playing.
Nobody ever.
UConn's laying 7.5. The over under 48.5. Guys, this is a lock for me. I'm on UConn minus the points, and I think you can actually find a 7 right now. UConn's legit, man, and Jim Moore's coming at those refs. They're legit.
Okay.
No, they're legit.
Here's a stat we need to know about this game. And Colby, I agree with you, but Georgia State is now on their 3rd straight road game, and UConn is on their 6th straight home game. Believe it or not. Crazy. Because after this game, UConn hits the road for 3 aways. So I just think the travel is tough. I mean, Georgia State was just at App State. Now they got to go at UConn. I'm all over UConn here. I'll lock it up with you, Colby.
Let's go. This one is probably my favorite weekday game that I feel best about. Patty C, what are you doing here at the wrench?
I think maybe you're right, actually. I mean, when you consider how close they were to beating Temple, that would put them on a 5-game win streak. Maybe UConn's playing really good football. Meanwhile, Georgia State, I guess, still a little probably over-influenced by their win over Vanderbilt. Haven't been very good since then. They've been playing decent teams close, but I think you're right. UConn, the hook, is that there to scare you a little bit?
Well, you can get it at 7 now.
Well, if you can get it at 7, definitely go with that. But I'm not locking, but I'll take UConn.
And let me talk to Jim Moore Jr. for a second. He was whining and bitching that since he was independent, he wasn't getting the whistles. Well, you know what? If you join a major conference, if UConn is fortunate enough to do so, you will never get 6 straight home games. So I don't want to hear it, Jim Moore Jr., even if you're a friend of the program.
6 straight home games. I don't know. If he joins the SEC, you might be able to get that.
Unless you're Texas, maybe.
Yeah, I was about to say that definitely happens in the SEC there. But yeah,
I
it's
think
a
it
good
happened
point.
for Michigan last year.
Yeah. Oh, see?
Okay. Well, I don't see a Big Ten or SEC invite coming, tomorrow for UConn. So,
I mean, I wouldn't shock me. The Big Ten invited Rutgers. That one made me spit out my coffee. So I could see UConn being in the same situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's my favorite play there. Friday, we also get a little battle of Florida as South Florida, the Bulls head into Boca Raton, take on the Owls of FAU. South Florida's laid 2.5. Look, Byron Brown, I believe, is still out for this game.
he is practicing, so maybe.
I mean, has his production been similar to obviously last year's elite? Earlier in the season, he was playing pretty well, right? Byron Brown?
No,
Not really.
Well, Fancher's banged up too, and you know what I say? I say fade Fancher, but especially fade a banged up Fancher, because if Fancher can't run, then what the hell can he do? So I'm on the Bulls.
I'm gonna take FAU. I don't like it that much, but I cock towards FAU here. This is a fun game to watch, considering just the in-state battle. But Patty C, what are you doing here?
I mean, in terms of impressive performances for FAU this year, they've been few and far between. Whooped up on Wagner in one of their wins, and then they really did torch FIU, so that was actually a pretty impressive win. Meanwhile, USF hasn't been playing great football at all, but getting it going against UAB, that's the type of team you need to play to get things back on track. So maybe that's what they did. They get the bye week before going to Boca Raton. I think they cover 2.5. I almost want to lock this because I think USF is that much better of a program than Florida Atlantic. So you know what? I will. I'm gonna lock USF. Woo!
Patty C with a little Florida special there. The tragic magic situation, obviously Amir Abdul Rahim, the basketball coach, that was shocking and just absolutely horrible what happened to him there, going in for a surgery. And then I haven't even done a deep dive on it, but go ahead. No, it's just a horrible, horrible story. Like, the guy was a rising star in college hoops. Like, he had been very good at Kennesaw State. He's in South Florida for just 1 year and has success there. It's just really awful, like what happened there. Want to send out love and condolences to his family and friends. But just a terrible situation where he went in for like a surgery, right? And
I don't even know what the backstory is. He just went in for a routine surgery, and
I thought there was complications. I haven't done a deep dive on it because it was such bad news that I was like, I don't even want to think about that, But horrible situation there.
Was he Sharif Abdurrahim's brother by any chance?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Hell of a coach too.
Yeah. Hell of a coach. And just his career was, I thought he was going to end up being like, a P5 coach, P4 coach, very shortly. NC Nick, what do you're going Bulls as well, right?
Yeah, I am.
Moving forward, we got a big one here in the Mountain West as the Aztecs, who have had a knack for fucking with Boise historically, at least since they've started this rivalry back in 2011 or started playing each other. Boise's laid 23.5 on that Smurf turf, over under set at 56.5. It's a letdown spot. Give me the Aztecs to stay within this number. Boise wins, I don't know, 42-27, something like that. Feel decent about this one. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I think I agree. I think they come back home and they take a little bit of a breath because they know, they don't have to bring their A game against the Aztecs. So I don't think a money line is in question here, but I think it's maybe like a field goal too many points. Give me the Aztecs as well.
Yeah, I don't think money lines.
Our Rice has possibly taken the money line. I can't see that team going into Boise and winning. Dude, that's a strong play. I like it. I like the balls, but I don't know if I can go with you there.
I think that might be a little, I hate to say it, all right, potentially recency bias just because of how well they played Wazoo. That was at home, but prior to that, sneaking by Hawaii, sneaking by Wyoming. Those are two bad teams. Losing against Central Michigan. They haven't been very good all year. Meanwhile, Boise, I will say, been a little less impressive as of late. But still beating beating UNLV close.
How is that not impressive?
That is impressive. That is impressive. But in terms of blowing teams out, but UNLV is so much better than San Diego State that maybe the score.
For the record, I was on the under with the Ashton Jeanty rushing yards and didn't have to sweat that one out because it was at like 190.
Yeah,
True.
It finished with what 128 or so.
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But still on pace to break Sanders' single season record, from what I understand. Boise 5, San Diego State 4 all time. Boise's won 2 in a row, but they have never won by 24 points in this series. I think 100%, even on the Smurf turf, I got to roll with Aztecs.
Yeah. Shout out to Damani in the chat, checking in from New Orleans, buddy. We're gonna get to your Commodores soon, buddy. But next up, let's jump over to Ohio State, Penn State. But before I do that, I want to let you know. And by the way, Edgar Allan Poe did play quarterback for Princeton, so stop spreading your bullshit. He was first team All-American in 1889. All right, so figure that out, buddy. All right.
Edgar Allan Poe. Who did he play for? Army,
Princeton,
right?
Yeah, no,
Wait,
Princeton.
He actually played football too.
Quarterback for Princeton.
The original Edgar Allan Poe.
I mean, an Edgar Allan Poe. Yes, the author.
Whoa.
Played quarterback for Princeton. First team All-American. All right. Married twice because and he's now his grave. If you want to visit it, is at St. Thomas Church there in Baltimore, Maryland. All right. Get on over there.
Author. That is
that's
awesome.
what I'm saying. I drop knowledge on this show, despite being
severely
intoxicated.
Back to 1969.
Oh, Jack Kerouac too, man. We could go on and on. What the hell am I talking about? All right, look, folks, I want to tell you the college football experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Pick'em is one of the biggest menus for all of sports: NFL, college football, CFL, MLB, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and much, much more. Boost Uber is upon us, which means you're getting a spooky amount of profit boost and much, much more. You can now use specials and boosts on all flex entries as well. So what do you do? It's sign up. And what do you do? Sign up with the promo code TCE SGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. All right, we are back. Ohio State, Penn State.
High noon.
State College, Pennsylvania. This series goes back to 1912. Right around, I mean, at that point, that might have been Jack Kerouac time. I forget where he played. I gotta do a deep dive on that again. Guys, Ohio State looked like shit last week. Penn State looked all right. Buckeyes still
impressed me last week.
Buckeyes still laying 3.5 on the road in State College. The over under set at 46.5. I gotta take. I know James Franklin in big games is dog shit. I know Ryan Day in big games is dog shit, but not this big game. But I still think Ohio State has problems on the offensive line. And this is my problem with Ohio State. They wanted to be Michigan so bad. They tried to change their whole philosophy, and the shoe has not fully fit yet. And I don't know that it will. They're Michigan.
Still the number 9 offense in the country.
They didn't play
Patty. The loss was at Oregon in a nail biter.
Okay, but you act like they played a Power 5 in the non-con, so those numbers are all diluted.
Yeah, they are inflated. That's true, but they put the whooping to 2 of the Power 5. The only really bad performance is the Nebraska game.
They put a whooping to Iowa, which we know Iowa will. Yeah, I mean,
and Michigan State.
But is that impressive?
On the road, a little bit, but no, not really.
I mean, obviously, last week they did not look good. Do you?
And to me, that was after a bye week, after losing to Oregon. You can't afford to do that.
As somebody that locked up Ohio State, I hear you, and I agree. Do you chalk that up to a look ahead spot, or do you chalk it up as to Ohio State not being that good?
I chalk it up to not being that good. That's why I'm taking Penn State in the points.
I want to chalk it up to a look ahead spot, which is why I'm taking Ohio State laying the points. We'll lock battle again here.
Wow.
Prove it to me, Penn State. Until you do that, you'll always be little brother, just like Colby.
Andy Cuddle Nicky. He wasn't there before NC Nick. All right.
True.
All right. And that is the difference, Mick. You bringing Chip Kelly?
You got a banged up Drew Alar.
Yeah. Questionable. If
games at high noon, which is a benefit to Ohio State.
That is true. It is a benefit to Ohio State. But check us out. Drew Alar, you don't need to pass the ball. Those stallion running backs you got right there, That defense with Tom Allen, more power. Rah, rah. All right.
Penn State needs all the variety they can get against the number 2 defense in the country. They need to be firing on all cylinders, and having their starting quarterback out is massive. That could really slow things down for Penn State. The hook.
Does Ohio State have a starting quarterback?
Yeah. What's the deal? Will Howard. I mean, is he playing? Apparently, he wanted to go to Penn State. I don't know that I would classify him as good, but he's a game manager type.
Who's better, him or Drew Allar? I don't know. It's a good question.
Allar.
Yeah.
Allar.
So?
Yeah.
A few games ago, you were not a big Allar guy.
I mean, he's impressed me this year with Kodal Nicki, and then Will Howard. Look, Will Howard fits Kansas State system. At Ohio State, it makes no sense. I was a skeptic the second they brought him in, because I said, "What? Ohio State's bringing in Will Howard? I don't get it. I don't get what they're trying to do." Yeah, and I still don't get it. So give me Penn State.
Apparently they whiffed on Cam Ward, and
they could have gotten Dylan Gabriel. They could have gotten Cam Ward as well. They didn't have interest in Cam Ward.
Oh, really? I thought
yeah.
Okay.
We're hating on these guys like they're average. Will Howard's number 2 in the nation in passer efficiency rating. Drew Aller number 6. So they've both been pretty darn good this year. On that metric. Maybe they're not lighting up the yards per game, but they're playing efficient quarterback play. So I think it does hurt. But from what I understand, Allar might be back. People think he will be. So I don't know. I think that hook is enough to end Nick's little brother comment. I'm taking some issue with a little bit. So I was going to go with Nick, but now I think that pushes me over to Colby. So we're going to go Penn State, and little brother is finally going to get it done.
Get in on this battle, buddy. You locking it?
No. And for the record, Colby and Patty are both the youngest of all their siblings. Noah, where do you fall on the family tree?
I'm in the oldest with you, NC Nick. And by the way,
there we go.
Jamie in the YouTube chat is asking a very solid question, guys. Tuesday, he would like to know whether you guys.
Wait, what?
Noah, you went back out. Away.
You muted yourself, buddy.
Sorry. He'd like to know Tuesday if you will be live or not, because he'd like to watch something other than the election.
I think we owe it to the country to be live.
Live during the election?
Owe it to the country.
I care about the election like I care about, where Dan Snyder's residing right now. I mean, come on. Anyway.
Yeah. For me, the election is Tulsa at UAB Saturday at 3:30.
That's right. Those are the states we're going to be declaring. Let's be honest.
Look at this. Edgar Allan Poe. I told you, man. Look, people don't believe me. People don't know their history. That's what I'm saying. Meryl Streep don't even know her history. She's doing movies about Edgar.
They had 2 Poes on that team? 3 Poes?
3 Poes.
What?
Wait, 4. The whole team was Poes. The Poe brothers. Wait, that's if we could count, that's actually 6.
Should we call them the Poe Boys?
Poe Boys. Yeah, I think that's
like
good.
the sandwiches.
Right.
I know all about those sandwiches. I think I ate one.
Yeah, you're in New Orleans.
I think I ate one a few hours ago before I passed out. But then look, I mean, Beanick, I'm going to send you Kerouac right now because he dude, this game's fantastic. He played at Columbia. These are the 2 teams going at each other, right?
Oh man, the author.
Yeah.
That's a nugget no one else is digging up right there.
That's what I'm saying. All right. These little Hollywood pieces of shit don't realize that college football is all through and through. All right. They're doing all these movies.
Ivy League.
Colby moved away 6 days ago. Now he's like these Hollywood pieces of shit.
Right. It's true. It's a good point. Before I was like, yeah, can you guys look, I got screenplays for you. All right. What are you talking about? Why isn't there a Police Academy 10? I got a screenplay for you. Let's continue on this journey.
Before we jump, because this is the college game day here, clearly the game of the day in terms of importance. What does this do if Penn State is able to get this win to Ohio State? Does that I'm assuming at 10-2, Ohio State is still a lock for the playoffs, right?
Well, considering if they can beat Indiana and Michigan.
Oh, yeah. They would have to get.
Look at Jack Kerouac right there. 32 belly option split. All right. And look, he didn't die from CTE. He was just a raging alcoholic. If you didn't follow his fine, books that he put out there. But yeah, see, It's everywhere. Only show that could talk about Poe and Kerouac. There we go, Clark. See, people. I'm just saying, football gets a bad rap. Now, from the we've gone too far.
I'd rather talk about po' boys. Colby, was it a shrimp po' boy?
It was a shrimp po' boy.
Oh, money.
Doing it right.
Pretty fire. And I had jambalaya for dinner too. Yeah, you don't like jambalaya, do you? Judging by that reaction.
Hell no, I love jambalaya. Bring it on.
Okay.
Last time I was in New Orleans, I was at a little po' boy shop, and I don't know if there's any Food Network fans out there, but two people in front of me was Aaron Sanchez, who was a personality on the Food Network. I was like, man, I must have picked the right place to get a po' boy if this dude's 2 spots in front of me.
Nice.
That is pretty
nice.
Wild.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
Etouffee. What is it? Some crawfish, whatever. They got some amazing cuisine down there. You better make the most of it, Cole.
Oh no, it is incredible. I already did oysters, everything. It's fantastic. Just cut the roof off that filthy Superdome and let's go. Anyway, next up, Virginia Tech, Syracuse. Speaking of filthy domes, Syracuse decided to be kind of relevant in college football when they moved to that filthy Carrier Dome. Before they used to win natties, but now they're hosting Virginia Tech. Patty C's convinced Virginia Tech's going to be in the ACC championship. Kyle Honda McCord, NC Nick with a great tweet showing what he looked like against Pitt last Thursday. He threw for about 6,000 interceptions. Series goes back to 1964. Virginia Tech's laying 4. And I think it's a get right spot for the Qs. Virginia Tech. Did you guys catch what Virginia Tech did last week? Patty C's ready to crown him.
Wasn't the most impressive win.
Let me just help you out a little bit, guys. They beat Georgia Tech 21-6. Georgia Tech was with their backup quarterback. They had 223 yards of offense at home. There's YouTube.com/the college experience. A live look at Kyle Honda McCord.
That's actually Patty's car.
Needs a little wash,
Buddy, 223 yards of offense, and now you got Tootin, who's questionable.
That's huge.
I'm on
I want to say, where is he? 5th in the nation in rushing yards and 17th in yards per attempt. So they have leaned on him really heavy, and his output has still been amazing. So if they don't have Tootin, that is obviously the driving force of that offense. So yeah, I think you may be right. On the road, 4 points, Tech is favored. That seems like a lot. And let's be honest, McCord's not going to have that kind of output every single game. A lot of that was bad luck. Some of those interceptions were insane.
Yeah. And see, Nick, what are you doing here?
I think I agree with you guys. I mean, Syracuse hasn't had a home game since September. They had 3 straight away games. I think that matters. I think coming home, I think this game is going to be closer than expected because right now the Hokies are kind of hot, 3 in a row, but are they playing that well? I mean, the Boston College game, they looked great the first half, then a couple turnovers. BC came back into it. I don't fully trust Virginia Tech yet, especially on the road. So give me the points.
All right, we all 3 of us. Any locks there?
No, because Syracuse just threw 5 interceptions and 3 were returned for touchdowns also. So it's kind of hard to get behind them right now as well.
Yeah.
Well, they're on the road. They're on the road.
Apparently the road is really daunting for
just like Jack Kerouac, right? On the road.
Yeah, he was on the road. And look, I know Clark said, what about Sinclair Lewis? He did play freshman football at Yale. So you can't escape it as much as you want to, you bastards. All right. You can't escape it. All right. Moving along. Saturday. Still at that noon spot, Eastern. Ole Miss heading into Arkansas. You got Freshwater taking on Road Rash Face. Great matchup here. Ole Miss lay at 7. Over under at 53.5. Folks, this is a lock for me. Give me Arkansas. Give me Arkansas on the money line because Arkansas can move that fucking ball. Ole Miss is one of these. I believe they're part of the conspiracy to prop up the SEC every year. Every year they'll put Ole Miss in the top 15 or 20. And it's one of these things of like, well, you see how good the SEC is. And every year, whenever Ole Miss plays decent teams, they suck. So give me Ole Miss to lose here in Fayetteville. And Road Rash Face going to get this done on the money line. Let's go sprinkle that money line. Patty C, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. That it may be a little recency bias. Arkansas hanging 58 last week on I guess a decent Southern Miss or a Mississippi State team based on how they played against Georgia the week before. Not really, but still a pretty darn impressive offensive output for Arkansas there, something that they hadn't done basically all year. So maybe that was an aberration. And Ole Miss, let's be honest, when their offense is going, it is going, but it hasn't been going quite as well as it had been at the beginning of the season. I mean, in fact, they haven't scored more than 30 in 4 straight games. So I expect, I think you may be right on the money line, but I'll definitely take Arkansas to cover 7 at home.
NC Nick?
Yeah, I like the other home dog here in Arkansas. I mean, Ole Miss was down 14-10 to Oklahoma last week. I'm not going to bet this, though, because I do recall another recent road trip where Ole Miss went into South Carolina and won easily. And I was on Ole Miss. I locked that up and won money on Ole Miss that week. Arkansas is kind of up and down as well, so I don't trust this one. I'm going to go Arkansas, but no bet.
All right, you filthy animal. Okay, next up, let's jump over to Stanford, NC State. Nice classic ACC matchup, NC Nick. Are you going to this? Any chance, NC Nick?
I don't see why I would go to this game and miss all the games on TV. So, no, I'll pass.
First ever matchup, NC State's lay at 10. That's just too much. Give me Stanford plus 10. I might bet this. I could be talked into a wager here. NC Nick, what are you doing there?
I mean, it's pretty crazy. It's almost like when NC State went out to Cal and Cal was laying 10. And you're like, what? Don't lay 10 with Cal. Well, you should not lay 10 with NC State either. I do think they're improving. I think CJ Bailey, the true freshman quarterback, is the future and is looking pretty good. But NC State has only beaten one team by more than 10 points this year, and that was the opener against Western Carolina in a game they were trailing entering the 4th. So I think you got to take Stanford. I could be talked into locking it as well. Should we? Why not? This is a goddamn gambling show. Let's gamble.
Let's bet these cards. Let's bet these cards. Sprinkle, says Clark. Let's go. Patty C, what are you doing here at Carter Finley Stadium?
Well, Tuck Jobs suggest that this is a pretty even matchup. 3-point win or 3-point loss against Wake for Stanford. 4-point loss against Wake for NC State. Likewise, both 24 and 26-point losses respectively against Clemson. And then there was one other, Syracuse, with 7 points and 2 points, or a 2-point win actually in Stanford's favor. I think Stanford probably a little better than 10. You know, I'll lock it with you. I'll join you, Stanford, locking this up because that is
triple lock.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can actually cue the music that's on here. Triple lock right here. Stanford plus 10. There we go. Play that music, or maybe I can play this. There we go. Triple lock.
It's not friends for forever, but it'll have to do.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised at the deadline. Shout out to Cody Frazier.
I'm a little worried though, because two of us kind of had, well, actually all three of us had to be talked into it. So we weren't like, yes, definitely I'm on Stanford.
Well, it's the first ever matchup. You're going cross country. Like,
yeah. And Stanford sucked the last month.
True.
Yeah. But so is NC State. They're not very.
Yeah. Cal still missed an 18-yard field goal to win that thing. Cal's, I don't know. NC State, I do think they're improved.
They are improving. Is Stanford improving? That's the question.
Well, they had their QB out for a couple of those games too, man.
Yeah, they just played Wake close. Is that a good thing?
Well, Wake beat NC State, so the tuck job is a solid tuck job here at Carter Finley.
So. We've already committed to it. It's happening. Let's go.
All right, Northwestern, Purdue. Northwestern's laying 1. The series goes back to 1895.
What's that all-time series?
I wonder if Edgar Allan Poe played these bastards. All right, back in 1895. I don't know that all-time series. But Northwestern's laying 1. I'm going to lay the 1, and I can't be talked into a lock here. Let's have a private school pussy parlay. Stanford and Northwestern. All right, lock them up.
That's a nasty parlay.
Let's parlay.
I'm not on board.
Stanford and Northwestern and have some fun. Patty C, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm on board with Northwestern. I do think they're going to win. All-time series, by the way, Purdue leads 53-34. So, but in recent history, I guess last few years, Purdue's gotten the better of them, except last year, obviously. So, but Jeff Brom's gone. So, I think the wins are gone for Purdue as well. Northwestern reestablishes control of this rivalry or series at the very least, and definitely covers 1 point. Did you guys lock this?
I'm riding with Northwestern. I just think they're better coached. Where is the Purdue? Like, they already fired their OC. I feel like Walters is, and I'm a Walters guy. He played safety at Colorado, but I don't think it's gonna. I think they're gonna can him after the year here.
He's a DC.
Yeah, I mean, he was just young.
Win.
He was just young. He might be able to be a good coach at a different time. Purdue's also a crazy, stupid job. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm gonna bet Northwestern. Petty, see you coming on board or what?
Yeah, I'll join you, and I'll lock Northwestern with you.
Let's go. Double lock as we move along. No, that was not Beverly Hills Cop. I do love Beverly Hills Cop, but that was Fletch, and I don't think they sue us for that yet. But maybe we'll see.
Maybe
tomorrow.
admit it on air.
It was Fletch, but
no plausible deniability left after that.
After someone compared me to Sergeant Taggart, I took all things, and I grew up like a like. NC Nick, how big of a Beverly Hills Cop fan was I when I was a kid? I mean, I had the fucking poster on my wall.
It was almost unhealthy how big of a fan you were.
Yeah. So like to then go to being called Sergeant Taggart, I removed all things Beverly Hills Cop in my house. And may he rest in peace. He passed away the other day.
What's worse, getting called Chris Penn or getting called Sergeant Taggart? Yeah. Times are tough on the college experience.
Shout out John Taggart. May he rest easy. John Ashton, hell of a good actor. Him and Rosewood made half that movie, man. I mean, Eddie Murphy obviously was the king, but those two definitely killed it too. How do I look anything like fucking that? Like, that's so bad. It's so bad. Anyway, let's jump over to the next one. Toledo. How about we cashed on Bowling Green last week? Didn't I talk you into that, NC Nick?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I didn't get a thank you text message. Little brother coming through for you.
It's in the mail, but I sent it out to California, so sorry.
Toledo's heading to the factory, Ypsilanti, where Noah Beanick is known to drop the top on that LeBaron and drive around late at night. So Toledo's laying 8 at the factory. Too many points. Give me EMU. Who the hell's Toledo to be laying 8?
Maybe they're one of the classes of the MAC the last decade. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe they're the team that didn't just lose to Akron.
Well, I told you that line stunk, by the way. That line stunk. Vegas was telling us Akron's going to win, and they're turning a corner, Patty C. That's why we've had them on at the studio every week. And if you can't see it, that's on you. All right.
But Vegas is also telling us Toledo covers this, because if not, the line would be -6. So I'm jumping on the Rockets here. Take care of business on the road.
No. This series goes back to 1923. It's personal. Give me EMU and the points. Patty C, you're definitely on these Rockets or what?
I don't know. I almost want to
give us a tuck job. Give us a tuck job here.
Well, I don't really have a tuck job lined up for you here, but what I will say is Mississippi State, the Toledo's performance against that, because there's no direct comparison there. But Toledo
here's a tuck job. Toledo beat Miami of Ohio by 10. Eastern Michigan lost to Miami of Ohio by
24.
24.
Yeah, I mean, those were both within the past month? Both within the past 4 games.
Toledo's clearly the better. Beat Jacksonville State and Rich Rod.
Hey, I mean, yeah. Look, at the beginning of the year, Eastern Michigan was really impressive. I even think the win over Central Michigan deserves a little credit. But they haven't been playing great. But neither has Toledo. I actually think, just based on Toledo being as disappointing as they have been, I'm going to lean Eastern Michigan here. 8 points.
No, you won't.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm going to cock to Eastern Michigan. I'm going to cock down Eastern Michigan.
Folks, want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by Rhythm. SGPN's proud partner Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered betting sports platform.
Man,
that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, props. Look, you can copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or you can build your own. Press build me a model And Rhythm will give you predictions for every game and player prop. They also have a slew of stats, research, trend analysis to give you even more betting insight. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. We're also brought to you by BetUS. Bet with the best of the business, folks. That is BetUS. They've been around for more than 30 years. You can easily deposit using cryptocurrency and get lightning fast payouts. BetUS is live with the trick or treat on Horse Street there from now until Halloween, which you got 2 days. BetUS will be offering daily promotions plus a raffle entry to win a sports or casino prize pack that will give away. They're going to give away that on Halloween there, October 31st. You can enter multiple times too. In fact, every time you deposit $200, you get an entry. So get on over there, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Once again, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN so they know we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook. All right, we are back.
Real quick, did we miss the potential difference maker here with Stanford having to travel across the country and play a 9 a.m. game against West Coast time against NC State? Could that be a factor at all?
Good point.
That is a good point. How many NC State fans, and shout out to Beanick, youtube.com/the college experience. We got a photo of his LeBaron.
Oh man, the wood panels. That's fire.
The panties just come flying.
I always love the spokes, the spokes on the wheel.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Especially Patty C. If that like woman is like 37 or something, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey, shout out
Smoking
to Benson.
cigarettes.
Shout out to Benson Hopper in the chat. What's up, buddy?
Yes, I mean Benson coming in. Just appreciate you, buddy. Giving us $50. I've been residing in a cave for the last 3 years, and your podcast has made existence more bearable. There we go. I appreciate you. A lifelong gambler, just like you boys. I can listen to you banter all the live long day. Appreciate you, man.
Live long.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm consuming. Noah's old whip. Did I get that one right, Nick? Whip. Yeah, whips. What do you do with the H there?
That's from Family Guy. But.
Yeah.
I got it, buddy. Let's go.
Yeah, I think.
Scott Russell with a great Seinfeld reference. Also, okay, we're getting sidetracked.
Memphis heading to that filthy Alamo Dome. They're laying 7.5. This line reeks. Why the hell is this 7.5? Give me UTSA plus the points because it doesn't make sense to me. Nick?
My question here is, how does UTSA respond after going into the fourth, beating Tulsa 42-24, and then losing 46-45? I agree Memphis has been, less than impressive against inferior opponents, but I still think they're the better team here, so I'll lay the 7.5.
Patty?
Memphis, pretty balanced attack. Top 20 passer in Hennigan, top 20 rusher in Mario Anderson. I just feel I got to take a quick peek here at UTSA's defense, but I'm assuming it's very terrible. So 64th, actually, that's respectable for an overall defense. Still 7.5. It stinks to high heaven, but I lean into the stink, so I'm going to go Memphis.
Let's go. Moving forward, we got Commander-in-Chief going on here. Air Force heading into West Point, New York. Mikey Stadium. Series goes back to 1959. Army laying 22.5. I mean, I have to take Air Force. I know they suck, but 22.5 with a team that has like 8 possessions a game is absurd. Give me Army. I'm sorry. Give me Air Force and give me a lock.
Wow.
Dude, what was the score of that Navy Air Force game? It was 34-7. And Army is definitely better than Navy. Does the bye week cool Army off a little bit? That's my only concern here, but I'm on Army.
The bye week, Air Force had a bye too, and Air Force played Colorado State tough. I thought I think they're improving.
But Colorado State isn't very good. I'm on Army here. I don't know if I'm gonna lock it up, but I think Army is in that like teaser zone maybe, where like you kind of like it, but you're not quite sure if they can cover 23.5. So at this point, I won't lock it up, but I'm on Army.
Patty C, what are you doing here?
You know what's really interesting? I wasn't sure if I agree. I'm still not sure if I agree with you that Army is way better than Navy, but
they are.
They are. Army's considerably higher in the offensive yardage per game stats. I want to say 17 versus number 47 for Navy, so considerably higher. But number 9 and 10 respectively, with each scoring exactly 40.4 points per game. So assuming that's the stat that really matters when you're trying to, figure out the spread here, then I expect Army to have a similar output again. I would expect the score to be about 34-7. So yeah, I think Army will cover that.
I'm just gonna this fucking webpage. I'm just gonna go ahead and what's it again? 23 and a half? Is that what it was?
Well, your thing says 22 and a half.
22.
It's in that range.
Well, 22 and a half, you'd have to go back to 1980, the last time Army would have covered that when they won by 23.
Well, when was the last time Navy covered 22 and a half? Because I'm sure it's been that long. Air Force hasn't been this bad.
Because Navy with
Navy did have some good years.
Fucked them up a couple times.
I mean, to Colby's point, I guess. I mean, Calhoun knew this was going to be a bad year, but you would expect them to get better as the season progressed. But I mean, Army's a train here. I don't want to jump off that train right now.
Yeah, I'm on the Falcons. Let's go. Clark's asking about the over 41 guys. What do you think about that?
Oh, well, that's a lot.
I think Army could hit it. I think Army could hit it themselves.
Yeah.
How many possessions will be in this game?
Army scores so fast that I think.
Know.
I mean, they run the ball obviously more than anyone in the country. So
Army has scored over 40 in 4 straight games.
Yeah, with the clock like running on incomplete passes, I don't think that the passing versus running thing has as big an impact as it used to, as far as how many plays you run. I could be wrong.
And it only goes under if Air Force can pick up first downs.
Yeah. I don't know. Give me the points.
Army's defense is also excellent, so they can get the ball back a lot. But all right, you're going Air Force and locking it?
I am.
Wow.
Just I don't trust them to like. I think there's like very little possessions in this game. You go back and look at that Air Force Navy game. That was still 21-7 at the half. It took like Navy what they scored with 6 minutes left in the fourth. I don't know. I'm not there.
Here's a stat for you. In terms of total plays run per game, Air Force actually runs more than Army, but considerably. 68th in the nation for Air Force, 113th for Army. So, but you're right that both are in the lower half in terms of number of plays run, which suggests lower scoring. So maybe you're onto something.
Yeah. Buffalo, Akron. The line stinks to high heaven. Pete Lembo heading into the old Rubber Bowl or whatever they're calling that new stadium, Infocision, all that bullshit. But look, Buffalo's laying 1. NC Nick, Vegas is telling you Akron's a juggernaut. They're telling you that.
Can Moorhead string together consecutive
wins
wins for the first time in his tenure there? I think. I'm not sure, but probably, right?
I think Buffalo's the better team, though. I got to take Buffalo. But I think this is a field goal game, though. Patty C, what are you doing here?
Steering clear.
Oh, I'm all over Buffalo. Again, stinks to high heaven. I dive into that stink, so I'm all over Buffalo. By the way, just to backtrack 1 second, how unbelievable is that stat that Army is number 113 in the nation in total plays run per game on offense, and yet number 9 in scoring? They score almost every play based on that stat. Very, very productive offense. That I think bodes well, against Notre Dame, but we'll get to that later.
Guys, 2018 was the last year Akron won back-to-back games.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
I almost feel like we should bet Akron now.
You might be right.
Moorhead finally gets it going.
Oh, Tyler from Akron's in the chat too. Is it a sign?
He's going to be at this game. Shout out to Tyler. Tag us on social media if you can, brother, if you're on Twitter. Any of you guys going to games, the more you tag us when you're at the game, doesn't matter. D3, D2, FCS, NAIA, FBS, high school, yeah.
Friday night high school game, tag us.
Let me tell you something. I'm going cross country and I've stopped by like 10 stadiums and it's fantastic. I stopped by New Mexico Highlands, right? I stopped by San Angelo State, I think it is. Did Louisiana Lafayette, did Southeast Louisiana, and that you get an appreciation for how great it is that we have this thing called college football and high school football. And really everything but the pros. It's fantastic. And it's,
especially in the era of mega conferences and mega TV deals, support local college football, support local football in general.
yes.
Amen.
And tag us in that. All right. Remember, and remember, all right, that Jack Kerouac and Edgar Allan Poe are some of the best. Damn. Next time you're at a bar and you're in an argument and you want to seem smart, you'd be like, Edgar Allan Poe played quarterback. All right.
Break that out.
all first team Ivy League. Let's go. There we go. I did a little video. Live from Lafayette. Also
nice,
checked
dude.
out McNeese State. You gotta have. Dude, it's been fun.
Did you get in a 3-point stance at midfield?
I did by myself too, right? And I was talking to myself. He's at 30, almost like Jake Taylor in Major League when he's at practice. He made the team and he goes out and he pretends like he hits a homer in the ninth. That's like a grand slam. Look, New Mexico Highlands, Perkins Stadium, just fantastic. Anyone can do this. Get on out there. All right.
Yeah, if you're making a cross country drive, you have to.
Yeah, it's it's part of the fabric.
When I came out to Cali, I hit Michigan, I hit Notre Dame, I hit Wisconsin, and obviously the Rose Bowl when I got here. So
that's why we call him TMZ Patty.
Sorry, I wasn't hitting
Wisconsin Whitewater.
I did go to Canton. I did go to Canton too. So screw you.
And there we go.
Yeah.
Shout out to It's Eric who goes, now that you're on the East Coast, Colby, can you get to Lexington for Commonwealth Stadium tailgate? Yes, we can arrange that. NC Nick, what are we doing? We wanted to hit the Bourbon Trail, right?
Exactly. You took the words out of my mouth.
Let's go. And and shout out to 3802 as well. Let's get it going. All right, continuing on this journey. Duke, Miami. All right. Folks, this one's a classic. All right. The series goes back quite a ways. Duke, Manny Diaz is the head coach of the Duke Blue Devils. He was fired by Miami. He had a tweet when he got fired that basically called out the administration. Then you got to remember also his dad's the former mayor of Miami.
Oh yeah.
Duke's catching 20. I was impressed with Duke. I don't know how the fuck they didn't win. I don't know how they did not win that game the other day when I bet on SMU, but they didn't. But they still they look good.
They found a way. Gosh, that was an amazing block by the SMU player, but an awful kick cover, or what would you call that? Field goal protection. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So I'm taking the 20. I know this is personal. He already beat Mac Brown. All right. I'm buying into this Manny Diaz fuck you tour. So give me the 20. I might bet this. Patty C, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I'll lock it. I think the fact that it's down in Miami and Miami is getting pumped up right now is a little bit scary, but Duke is I think they're pretty darn close. Miami number 2 passing offense in the nation, Duke number 13 passing defense in the nation, so they're kind of primed to, or in a position well to stop that a little bit. So give me Duke to cover 20. Easy, lock it.
Let's go. I'll bet this too. NC Nick, I know you. I don't even need to ask you, right?
Well, I'm on Duke, but I don't want to jinx this, so I'll let you guys lock it. I will not. I mean, Duke's defense is legit. Their offense is it struggles. So I'm a little concerned about if Miami can put up some points, can Duke hang with it? Can they cover in kind of a shootout type game? That's my pause for hesitation. But we have to look at Miami right now, and even if you guys think Duke might cover this, you guys aren't flirting with the money line, are you?
No, but maybe. So, I mean, Miami should have 3 losses.
Miami has 4 games left, and they're currently undefeated. And so I think, if they go 2-2, now if they go 3-1, I think they're going to be in the ACC championship game, most likely, depending on what happens with some others. But they're probably going to be in the playoffs. I mean, they have Duke at Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, and at Syracuse. They're going to win 3 of those games. Come on.
Yeah.
They got to, right?
They'll win all 4 of those.
Yeah.
I don't know. They still might drop 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all a little bit dangerous. Maybe not Wake, but at Georgia Tech, at Syracuse have a slight chance. And then Duke going over there, probably less of a chance to win outright, but still a threat.
They're not going to play a top 25 team all year. Think about this.
And Clark, this is the reverse jinx here, okay? This is, when everybody's on your team, maybe you just sit back and, don't bet it. And then you hope for the best.
Yeah, Noah, what was that also? Someone inviting us to the Glass Bowl in Toledo. We would love to get up there, and maybe we can make that happen as well. Hell
One thing to worry about.
Russell.
Sorry. What does he say? Oh, catch a game at the Glass Bowl. Oh, a little basketball game at Savage Arena. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what were you going to say, Patty C? But yes, Toledo, definitely we will get up there at some point, Scott.
I was going to say the one thing to worry about, though, is Cam Ward and his Heisman campaign. Miami's going to be pushing for that, especially this late in the season with, I believe he's still the front runner at this point.
No, Travis Hunter's the front runner, I think.
Travis. Okay. Odds wise, he jumped.
Yeah.
Either way, he's right in that conversation. So Miami's going to try and push that, which might mean they keep him in later in the game and they, cover late. But still, I feel like Duke will easily keep this just based on what Miami's done against similar levels of competition throughout the year. So,
all right, moving forward. Minnesota, Illinois. A series goes back to 1898 in Champaign. I ate a bundle of shit on Illinois, but I cashed big on Minnesota a week ago.
That rings true for me too. Same thing.
Isn't Illinois the favorite here? No, Minnesota is the favorite here.
Yes, they are.
I'm pretty surprised by that. If I'd have said a line, it would have been the Illini. Yeah. I'm going to lock up the Illini plus the points.
They're a little bit tough to figure out at this point in the season, but so is Minnesota.
But this line does reek. Wouldn't you guys set Illinois as a favorite if they're, in Champaign?
Well, I like fading the recency here. I think everybody sees that Minnesota just beat Maryland by 25, the team that just beat USC, and everybody sees Illinois just laying an egg, in Alton. So I guess I see why that is, but I do like fading that what happened last week and going the Illini at home. I'm with you there. I don't know if I'm going to bet it though.
I'm going to bet it. Minnesota's not going to beat them, and if so, it'll be by 3. So your money's good. All right. So give me the Illini. Lock that up. I don't have the music here, but lock it up. Patty?
I am curious if Minnesota has any playing. Brosmer 10th nationally in completion percentage, so that's a pretty impressive stat. Daniel Jackson 14th nationally in receptions. He was a game breaker.
He's a stud. He's a stud. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have some guys.
I cashed on his ladder last week. Thank you much.
Very nice. Very nice. When I'm looking at Minnesota's body of work, though, look, the loss to North Carolina, it looks worse than it is. I knew North Carolina was a better team than their record suggests, even if Nick gave me flack for that. But other than that loss,
UVA
destroyed UVA. And look, they could have won all those games. They were neck and neck with Pitt, who's sitting there undefeated, 8-0. North Carolina's had a pretty, a bummer of a season based on how
every Pitt game is close, other than when they get 3 defensive touchdowns.
And I do believe Minnesota did miss 3 kicks against North Carolina, but still, I was on Carolina that night, and that's why you follow Pick Dundee, because we knew it. We knew it. All right.
I mean, Iowa was the only team that worked Minnesota. They did go into Ann Arbor and almost win. Minnesota did. So other than that, 5-3 with 2 pretty respectable losses. They're playing good football right now under the radar. Meanwhile, I think Illinois is also very impressive. So I think I lean with you guys, I cock with you guys. We're gonna go Illinois. Should be the favorite probably, but certainly should cover 3 at home.
All right. Oh, man, this series goes back to 1893. Vanderbilt heading to the plains. It's like a dog finding where he pissed last time he was at the vacation home, right? Diego pissing Pavia pissed all over Hugh Freeze's face.
And he is a dog.
Yeah. Yes. All over a season ago as New Mexico State was like, I don't know, 28 point. I don't even remember. Vandy hits the road to the plains. They're catching 7. It's so insulting.
Yeah, that is.
And it's funny. Diego Pavia got dinged up in Texas. He got dinged up at Oklahoma. He hasn't missed a game, and they thought he might miss this game. And he says, "Hell no, I'm playing." He's the opposite of Cam Rising.
The opposite of Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
I'm tired. Sub, coach, sub.
Yes, look at this. Diego Pavia, after an interception, And then the team jumps on him. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, he's gonna piss on this field again, and I can't wait. So give me. Then this is a money line play too, as Clark and our writers saying, let's ride this money line. Vandy's a better team than Auburn. Done.
Yes, they are. I think a demonstratively better team. I guess within the past 3 weeks, they both have, or past, it's been a little while since Vandy played Auburn, but Kentucky rather, but they had a similar score, 20-13 versus 24-10 is what Auburn just beat Kentucky by. So a little tuck job there, says they're comparable, but throughout the rest of the season, Vandy has been the far more impressive team. Even last week against Texas, great performance. So this is a lock, definitely.
Let's go.
Vandy.
And it's nice to see that. Well, I mean, not realistically, but it's Indianapolis has now banned the AR-15. So I don't know which side you go on there. We don't have to go on that. We can go down that route. But of course, I'm on Vandy. Come on, man. Vandy is a covering machine. 6-2 ATS on the year. You know the two games they did not cover?
Georgia State
and Ball State. So whenever they've played a P4 opponent, they cover. It's what they do. And if you're on this show, you go Pavia, you go Vanderbilt, and we're all going to do that triple lock.
Yes, the pisser. Let's go. Triple lock. Vanderbilt +7. Sprinkle that money line.
You would think 10 weeks in, YouTube user would get like a screen name by now.
I enjoy that name though. I enjoy that name. All right, moving along. Maine, Oklahoma. Randy Moss's son plays for Maine. I'll take Maine plus the 34.5. Just on that. That's your handicap. Randy Moss's son plays wide out for Maine. And Oklahoma's offense is so bad that I'm like, I'll take any one of Randy Moss's offspring to cover.
To cover at least.
Give me the 34.5 with the Black Bears. What a stupid game. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Well, you got to go a few years back on my X feed, but I did go in the 3-point stance in Orono, Maine, at midfield at the Black Bear Stadium. I think they cover. I do. Let's go.
And Villanova. Moss. There we go.
I like FCS Northeast football.
There you go.
There you go. I had to qualify it a little bit.
Get Montego Moss the ball in Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. There
is he as country as Randy?
I mean, probably not. No, I don't think it's possible.
He probably grew up
Charlotte.
He probably
grew up. He went to a school called Union. That's pretty country.
Hometown Charlotte, North Carolina. NC Nick.
It might be. I mean, I don't know. It might be country if he's like outside Charlotte, but we'll see.
Union is that's the North. That's not country. Now, if he played for Dixie High School, then I'd be convinced. Isn't Montego in that Beach Boys song Kokomo? That's a little.
How the fuck am I supposed to know that?
I don't know.
That is correct. That is correct.
Is it? Wow.
What he's named after Montego. Interesting name. Cool name.
What a
great spelled differently, but yes, in the song.
Yeah. Maine has played pretty well, although 2 losses in their last 3 games, so, but you're right. Oklahoma's offense, number 113 nationally. That's so putrid to expect them to cover 34.5. I'm going to go with you just on the Moss angle. Let's go.
Have you guys seen the interviews of what's his name? White Chocolate?
Jason Williams.
So he was a quarterback throwing balls to Randy Moss in high school.
Yeah, so awesome.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
We have the Beach Boys lyrics.
Key Largo, Montego. Yes. Come on. Not quite the same.
No, what were you saying, NC Nick? What did you just say there before that?
I was saying how White Chocolate, Jason, what's his name?
Jason Williams.
Jason Williams was the quarterback for Randy Moss in high school.
Not Jason Williams with the shotgun. Jason Williams with the handles.
Correct. Right? Not Jason Williams from Duke.
Jason Williams with
That's Jay Williams.
True, but there's been a lot of Jason Williams.
If you had to hang out with one over the weekend.
I'm gonna go with White Chocolate. I'm not going with Shotgun Williams.
Yeah. Shotgun Williams. The deeper I did a dive on that, the more that was like, yeah, maybe I'd say he's the worst of the Jason Williams there. Anyway, yeah, big Randy Moss guy. Moving along.
Jason Williams, I'll give him a little credit. He seems legit. He seems like a pretty cool guy. Humble.
I agree. He's entertaining.
I mean, he was part of that Duke Maryland game.
90.
No, that Duke Maryland game. Remember that game? It was at Cole Fieldhouse where Duke's was down 10 with like 50 seconds left and got the game to overtime.
One of my
it was
favorite games
insane game. And it was such a long time ago that I'm thankful that we had problems connecting the Sega Genesis because we went to play Sega Genesis when this happened, and for some reason, maybe some dust in there. Almost the youth doesn't know about this, so we were trying to get it to work. We were just getting a black screen, and we reset it again, and then we saw that Duke had cut it down to like 6, and we're like, wait, we have to watch the rest of this. And so thank you, Sega Genesis out there, for saving that ending. Because
the worst was the Nintendo games that you basically had to give a blowjob to like
more cunnilingus, but
Patty C still does that, right? Yeah. He's not even playing the video games. He's just in his living room, just loading up,
going down. It's the most action I've seen. You know, Nintendo's still giving it.
Look, teaching the youth correctly, right? Teaching the youth correctly, right?
That's right. They need to know.
Tulsa, UAB. The modern game does not impress me, Nick. This modern game between, how about Tulsa moneyline play last week by Old Pick Dundee? Woo! Down 35-7. They win outright at H.A. Chapman Stadium. Of course I'm taking them here against Trent Dilfer. Give me those Golden Hurricanes. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Tulsa. I can't bet UAB. I mean, we got a dead man walking as head coach. Give me the Hurricane.
Patty?
Tulsa's recent performances, what have they done? They I mean, that was an amazing comeback against UTSA. You got to give them a little bit of credit for that. Other than that, though, not super impressive. Still, I think you're right, UAB. But although UAB, didn't they have an impressive performance recently?
I took them to cover against South Florida.
They covered, right?
They
didn't win.
Yeah.
That's a 3-point spread. Yeah, I'll go Tulsa.
What's the better logo here?
That's tough.
I go Tulsa just because it's goofy.
Wait, UAB's isn't? Look at that thing.
It's like trying to be fierce.
It's like Dungeons and Dragons. Roll the 20-sided die. All right. Tell me your fucking dexterity. All right. No, I'm with you on Tulsa.
It looks like the Dwayne Wade statue.
Patty C, you're on Tulsa too?
Yeah, I want Tulsa.
All right. Old Dominion, App State, Boone, North Carolina, ODU laying 3. Ricky Ronnie done a great job with everyone leaving every single year. But I'm on App State. They're going to get to a bowl somehow. It's a tragic magic situation here. So I will take App State +3. Sprinkle that money line. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
You know, I talked to a couple season ticket holders over the week, and nobody is very happy with the state of App State football and Sean Clark. But they all think, like I said last week, I think he may get one of the year due to the circumstances out there. But until then, I cannot bet on them. They were down to Georgia State in the 4th. Thankfully, they came back and won a close game.
I locked it and they covered.
I bet. Yeah, you got pretty fortunate too. I got to go to you. Sorry.
Wow. Patty?
I mean, this seems like a really obvious play to lock ODU because they've been playing good football, winners of 4 of their last 5. Meanwhile, App State has been struggling, but App State has been getting better. Remember, they started the season 2-1. Granted, one of those wins was against ETSU, but then when did the hurricane hit? I guess it was for the Liberty game, just before the Liberty game. They had already gotten smacked by South Alabama before that, but they kept it close against Louisiana, which was obviously a good team. And then finally last week after the bye, got the win straight up over an admittedly bad Georgia State team. Still, even if they are moving in the right direction, it's nowhere close to where ODU is. So I'm going to lock ODU.
Let's do some battle. Do some battle. Give me App. Let's lock battle here.
There it is.
No music.
Yeah.
But we're fighting. Let's go. All right, folks. Look, if you're watching on YouTube, stay put. If you're on the audio side, check out the B side. But things get loose. This is the college football experience. Week 10 preview and picks. You better start thinking about yours. All right, we are back on the B side as we just talked all the games up to ODU App State. We jump on over to the world's biggest cocktail party. Series goes back to 1904. NC Nick notoriously sprayed sunblock as we were sitting in traffic going to this game. We were at the stadium, but sitting in a line of traffic going at about 1 mile an hour.
It was hot that day. It's in Florida. The sun was shining. It's at least
all the people walking by. Well, to be fair, we were drinking for hours prior, but he decided to spray the random patrons coming into the game with sunblock.
Nobody wants melanoma.
Very considerate, Nick. Very considerate.
Yeah. So that was very nice of you. I understand that. You were looking out for the well-being of all those people at the world's biggest cocktail party.
Right.
Georgia's laying 16.5. I may or may not have, had cocktails with William Wallace in a Braveheart costume the night before we went to the cocktail party. If you haven't gone down there, what's that? What do they call that? The Jacksonville Landing or whatever.
Well, yeah. Well, the funniest thing about that, you were fucking with a guy. He was clearly William Wallace, and you go up to me and say, "Hey, are you Gladiator?"
That's always the best when you fuck with people because he was so proud of his costume, and I go, "Dude, I love Gladiator."
He was so defeated. He was like, "No, I'm William Wallace."
And I go, "What, Wallace? No, you're Gladiator, dude. You're fucking Gladiator, Russell Crowe, right?" Yeah, that was us. Several cocktails deep. I think I found those sunglasses on the floor. So yeah, it was a good night.
Well, you know what else you found on the floor?
That's true. I found a credit card. And that was great. We definitely had a round of Boilermakers on some random person.
You might be owning up to a crime right here, which you might not want to, but that was a long time ago. I think by now statute of limitations is passed.
I was about to say, Venmo me, I'll send you $31 or whatever that was. Anyway, what do we got going on? The world's biggest cocktail party. If you haven't been to this thing, I know Florida has been irrelevant in football for the past, 15 years. But this is one you get out to because it's just a good time there. NC Nick's being called Garrett Riley in the middle. But dude, I'm loading up on Georgia off a bye week. Like Kirby Smart takes this game serious. And knowing that Lagway is going to have to go against this Georgia D, I'm going to lay the 16.5, and I'm also going to lock it up. So let's go. NC Nick, you coming with?
I completely agree. I mean, Florida has been better than we expected. I mean, beating Kentucky 48-20 last game out, very nice. But Lagway, a true freshman quarterback, I don't care if he's a 5-star going up against that Georgia defense. I don't want to get behind that. I'm on the dogs. Let's lock it up. Let's go.
Yeah, double lock. Patty, see you rolling?
No, I am not. I think you should be very concerned with Georgia's, some of Georgia's performances. You would point to that Kentucky game, and most people excuse them for that. But Mississippi State is a little bit of a black eye. They didn't crush Auburn the way you would think, an SEC favorite might, losing to Alabama. Look, Georgia. I mean, I think both of these teams are really being judged by the first game of the season a little bit, where Florida got crushed by Miami and Georgia crushed Clemson. Everyone thought, okay, Georgia's a national championship. Billy Napier is going to get fired at Florida. Since then, he's done pretty well. Florida number 49 offensively. So I think they're getting it together. I actually expect Florida to cover this because I think it means as much or more to Napier here.
I mean, Georgia just had the best win of the season at Texas. Dominated that game.
That was
the last time we saw them on the field, right?
That's true. But again, you pointed out that Texas hadn't really played anyone. In fact, the next week up, Texas beats Vandy by 3. So Vandy's a good team. I agree. I think Georgia, it'll be close to this. I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia covered, but I'm going to lean Florida. I'm going to cock Florida because I I think I don't know. We'll see what Lagway can do.
Right. Cody Frazier saying NC Nick is Garrett Riley is accurate. You look at that youtube.com/the college experience. Hop on over there.
That was in my younger days.
Yeah. It's true. Now you look like now you look like who? Who
we gotta get someone real.
Sean Penn? No, I don't know. I don't know. Lincoln Riley. Yeah, you look like Lincoln Riley now. I don't know.
Went from Garrett to Lincoln.
Oregon, Michigan, in Ann Arbor. The first time really the Ducks are actually going to a road environment against a solid team. They're laying 15. The over-under's at 45.5. Series goes back to 1948. I struggle with this, but I ended up going Michigan just because Oregon, I just feel like they're due for a game. Michigan's passing offense is horrible. The chat is saying Luke Owen, NC Nick.
I've heard that before.
Yeah. I was going to say Luke Wilson.
No, that's what I thought you were talking about. Who's Luke Owen?
I have to look him up now.
Who is Luke Owen? Who the
I
fuck
was
is
thinking
Luke Owen again?
Owen Wilson. You know,
Yeah.
Luke Wilson's brother.
I like the one comparing you to Jeff Hostetter.
Where was that? Was that today?
Right there. Jimmy's teeth saying you look like Jeff Hostetter.
I missed that.
All right, there you go. I'm on Michigan, guys. I think Michigan's going to give them a game. I think defensively they can pose some problems. Hopefully.
Yeah, Luke Owen. You look it up. It's just Owen and Luke Wilson. There is no Luke Owen.
Owen Hart. Someone says you look like Owen Hart. NC Nick too.
I don't think that's the case. May he rest in peace, right?
Yeah. May he rest in peace. Yeah, guys, Michigan's going to cover this. I think I might bet this because I just feel like the line is telling you. It's telling you a little bit there. Patty C, what are you doing here?
You said you might bet Michigan?
I might, yeah.
Well, if it was 14.5, and you would think they'd be baiting you with that hook too. So, which I saw on what was it, Score app. So, I don't know when that line had moved, but either way, it does seem like maybe they're baiting you a little bit. Here's one thing that is a little bit concerning is the teams that, but I can't even say that because Oregon did handle Ohio State in the trenches. And I think Ohio State is probably comparable to Michigan in the trenches this year. Michigan
does on the road.
It is on the road. Yeah. And Michigan has some, Will Johnson was preseason, like Thorpe Award watch list near the top of that. So I think they may have a couple like defensive backs that can handle Oregon's speed. Yeah. At home, I guess I'll lean Michigan. I'll cock toward Michigan here.
Yeah, I think cocking towards Michigan is smart. NC Nick, any chance you're going to cock to Michigan?
Yes, I'm on Michigan as well. I think it's a closer game than expected.
Let's bet this. Let's bet this game.
I'm not because how impressive that performance against. Look, Illinois and Michigan stylistically are pretty comparable. They're ground and pound teams, and Oregon had clearly the answer for Illinois.
But they just haven't played it. Yeah, they haven't played anybody on the road. So
exactly, and I mean they're bound for a tight game. Congrats for beating Purdue and Illinois by a lot. You guys look amazing, Oregon. But it wasn't that long ago before that where they were in some tighter than expected games. Michigan, are they improving? I don't know, but I think they do have the defense to keep this close. Give me the 15. Let's go, Colby.
Yeah, let's go. Bet this thing. Lock Michigan plus 15. Let's ride.
I'm not going to join you just because.
I don't really see a money line though. I think Oregon still wins.
Yeah, I don't see the money line either. Yeah,
that metric I was looking at earlier. I think the metric was overall raw record, and then their basically efficiency score, and those two being compared as the overall quality of the team. Michigan just a hair under the likes of like Ole Miss. Like they're not even on the fringe of the playoff conversation, obviously, but they're like the first team off of that conversation. So that's a lot better than I think most people think of Michigan right now. So maybe at home, especially, they're going to be motivated for Oregon. Maybe they get up.
And this is the year where I think you want to take Michigan as a dog, and you don't want to take them as a favorite.
Yeah.
Especially a big dog.
Yeah. David Matola saying the Steiner brothers were from Michigan.
I think they were.
Yeah. And Legion of Doom was from Ohio State, right?
I did not know that.
AJ Hawk's dad is one of the guys. Legion of Doom.
You're bullshit, right?
No, he is.
True? Really?
Yeah.
In fact, our boy Mickey took him on a recruiting visit, Laronitis. And he said while he was there, he didn't want to see the campus. They were just like, show us the weight room. They just wanted to work out on campus.
Well, as much as the Steiner brothers were cool, Legion of Doom was badass. Not to pick a side. I'm sorry, Noah, but as far as your wrestling tag teams,
Noah has no idea who the fuck the Legion of Doom is. Noah, one day you gotta do a deep dive on ravishing Rick Rude. All right. Anyway, North Carolina heads to Saudi Arabia, aka Tallahassee, Florida, to take on Saudi Arabia State. North Carolina's laying 2.5. The over-under's at 51. Mac Brown's never won against his alma mater. Winless. He's basically done in Chapel Hill. They're winning this game. This is his Cinderella moment.
Yeah, this is it. You're right. You've been calling this all year.
Oh yeah, let's go. Lay the 2.5. NC Nick, stop it with your slander.
It might be the sweetest nanner pudding ever in Tallahassee this weekend. Believe it or not, I'm gonna go UNC. I'm gonna lay the points, guys. Florida State is now 1-7. They are not bowl eligible. If they had anything to play for before last weekend, it's gone. I'm gonna go UNC.
Yeah, this might be a lock worthy here. I might be betting this.
Yeah, I'll lock that. I've been locking a lot, but yeah. I mean, Florida State is just.
NC Nick says no. It's disgusting.
Don't bet on UNC.
Let me say this, and this is maybe a little bit of wishful thinking, but if the reports are true, and he and Mac Brown and UNC basically already have a handshake agreement that he's going to be done after the season, riding off in the sunset, mutually agreed upon, then they're going to be looking for a new head coach. And who is it? Scott Satterfield from right down the road, 12 minutes away in Hillsborough, North Carolina.
Why would they want Scott Satterfield?
Oh, they're just winning. They have a winning record, Power 5. He's had ACC
You're really
experience.
trying. He wants him out of Cincinnati so bad, NC Nick. What are you, his agent? Are you calling up Chapel Hill? Saying this guy Satterfield.
Bring him home. Bring him home.
5-3.
Maybe he can recruit.
It's a good 5-3. All right. Tar Heels. Let's go. UCLA, Nebraska. Nebraska's laying 6 in Lincoln. The series goes back to 1946. I'm locking up Nebraska here. I think the fact they're at home, Raiola plays a lot better when he's at home. I'm going to lay the 6. I think the defense shuts down UCLA. And I also think, what the hell is UCLA doing playing at Nebraska? They're going to be wondering, where are we? So I'm going to lay the 6. And I think that's a pretty damn good bet. Patty?
Yeah, I mean, shoot. Last week's performance, super impressive by Nebraska. UCLA, not going to have a great, enjoyable experience in Nebraska, and or was it Lincoln? So, give me Nebraska.
I kind of disagree, guys. I mean, I think Nebraska plays every game very close. UCLA coming off a bye, so the travel isn't as big of a deal. Give me the Bruins to cover.
Wow. You want to battle?
No, I'm not betting this.
Nebraska's gonna. This is a 31-13 game right here.
You have Nebraska putting up 31.
Yep.
Well, they haven't done that since they played UTEP in week 1. Oh no, Northern Iowa in week 3.
It's about where UCLA is.
UCLA's got a decent defense. I mean, they're playing hard. This is a ball game.
No.
Nebraska, the number 93 offense. UCLA, the number 70 defense. Neither team is good, but or at least on that side of the ball. But UCLA a little bit more impressive based on that stat, but still at home. Nick, isn't this one of your 2 time zone specials here?
Yes, but UCLA does have the bye.
Okay.
Yeah. What does that mean? They're it's hanging out in
Get
Omaha?
there a day early.
What are we doing?
I'm saying to travel when you have more time, you can get there a day early. It's not like a short week or anything. They got plenty of time to get used to that central time zone.
I don't know about that. Folks, what I tell you, the college football experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Pick'em is one of the biggest menus for all the sports: NFL, college football, CFL, MLB, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and much, much more. You can now use specials and boost on all flex entries as well. So sign up, and when you do, sign up with the promo code TCE SGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN.
By the way, I keep on getting burned by these weekday quarterback injuries. Jordan McLeod is out. The backup is in. That means Texas State's losing. That means my Jordan McLeod rushing prop is not hitting. That means my Joey Hobart receiving prop probably isn't hitting. These weekday quarterback injuries have been rough.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, why has it always been the weekday games?
I don't know. Well, there's been a lot of injuries all over college football, but I guess it's that time of the year.
Getting dinged up. National spotlight, people playing harder.
Yeah. Moving along. Kansas State is heading to Houston, Texas. Take on Willie Fritz. K-State's laying 13.5. I'm going to keep this lock train going. Give me Houston plus 13.5. I think Kansas State's not that good. They got fortunate again. And Kansas covered. It's coming off of an emotional win. 52-yard field goal, game winner.
That was lucky.
I'll take Houston plus the points. And I think, I mean, I don't know that they're live to win it, maybe, but just because it's the Big 12, but give me the points. NC Nick, you coming?
I like Houston here too. I mean, they're winners of 2 of the last 3. It kind of reminds me of when Texas traveled to Houston last year. I think they're a live dog here. I mean, can they win it? Maybe not, but can they cover? Certainly.
It's worth the sprinkle. It's worth the sprinkle.
Potentially. Let's go. And especially with 13.5, they're trying to bait people to bet K-State. Let's go Houston, lock it up. I'm with you.
Let's go. Double lock. Patty C, making a triple lock?
No. And in fact, I completely disagree with you guys. Look, Kansas played Houston not 2 weeks ago and beat them by 28. K-State obviously barely squeaked by Kansas this past weekend, but still.
It's a fine tuck job. Fine tuck job. Right there.
Tuck jobs are that much more meaningful when the games are back to back. Okay. So you're getting a pretty good comparison. I mean, obviously other factors can factor in there, but look, Kansas State, this reminds me of last week's UCF and BYU. Yeah. I mean, everyone's just assuming that, okay, the spot, these little factors here, you're playing the spot too much. I'm playing the record. 7-1 versus 3-5. They're covering 2 touchdowns.
The difference is that UCF was favored by 2 at home. And here we have the home team being a dog by 13.5.
Well, the whole public was playing that game with BYU last week, and finally they had to put some respect on their name after this. K-State, they're playing for the Big 10 or the Big 12 championship game, and they have to win out, so they're gonna take it seriously. Houston's probably not. I mean, they're getting better, but I still think K-State is much more dialed in. So I'm gonna go Wildcats.
I guess to Patty's point, Houston still suffers from lackluster quarterback play, so it's a question mark.
True, but K-State, have you watched K-State all year? They haven't looked that good to me.
Yeah, I hear you. Come on, I'm with you.
Yeah, let's go. Moving along. Indiana.
By the way, they did play last year. They're only a matchup all time, K-State and Houston. 41-0 K-State.
That was Dana Holgerson, dude. Willie Fritz is way better. Yeah.
2 entirely different teams. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Indiana heads to East Lansing. Series goes back to 1922. Signetti has yet to trail as the head coach of Indiana. Indiana has not even been down 3 points, 1 point, 2 points. It's November by the time this game kicks off. Indiana's laying 7.5 on the road. Give me Sparty and Jonathan Smith to cover this number. I think I might bet this. Ooh. And see, Nick, what are you doing here? Because Rourke's questionable. Taven Jackson, if they have to go with them on the road, you know what? I am betting this. Give me Michigan State plus 7.5.
I disagree. I'm gonna ride out Indiana, man. They're finding a way to get it done. They're not a one-man show. They're not. I mean, they prove that they don't necessarily need Rourke to win and cover. Vegas put it at 7.5 to try to get more people on Michigan State. Nope, I'm not taking the bait. I'm on IU.
I want to talk about this for a second. Max says, "How did
Indiana's
Indiana
won? Indiana's won 2 in a row in East Lansing, by the way, guys.
Wow, that's surprising.
Max in the chat is saying, how did Indiana only have 4 games on their schedule, 4 away games on their schedule? First off, I mean, they do this sometimes, but the real reason, pre-Cignetti coming, they paid a bunch of money to Louisville to not play. They were supposed to play Louisville, and they bought out of that game and replaced it with Western Illinois. So,
well, and also, I mean, there's 9 Big Ten games. So every other year you have 4 away.
Yeah, but normally you play a non-con game.
Well, not if you're Michigan the last couple of years or Ohio State, this year. So I mean, it happens. It's usually Indiana does, but I guess they were smart this year.
They wised up.
Indiana wins 31-28. The magic continues. Michigan State gets the cover. Patty C, what are you doing here?
You know, Nick made the point, and I have to agree completely. Maybe it's just me wanting to see my boy get better catching stats. Or drawing a blank, Elijah Surratt. But they distributed the ball all over the field. I don't know that anyone had more than 2 catches last week. They only had 11 completions throughout the game.
Well, they only had like 220 yards of offense.
Well, they were dominant in the run game, Indiana. But yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, that didn't require them to gain a ton of yards. They still put up 34 points and won convincingly. But I just think that they have options at all sorts of positions. Cignetti just doesn't rely on one thing, and so that suggests a strong team. And even though Michigan State is getting better and they have the hook on their side, I'm still going to go Indiana. They're a freight train right now.
All right, no locks for you guys?
Nah,
I don't think so.
All right, ULM. Marshall, the last time they played was in the FCS playoffs in 1987.
Really?
Yeah. Marshall's laying 10.5. Over under set at 47. I'm on ULM. I think they can stay within this number, but there's no wager here. I don't feel good about this one. Patty C, what are you doing here?
Both teams very much alive for the MAC or the Sun Belt Championship game, rather. I think that's too many points, so I'm going to go ULM to cover 10.5.
NC Nick?
ULM was my original pick here. I'm going to switch it, though. I think ULM they were having a nice season, and that came crashing down last week at South Alabama when they lost 46-17. So they're on the road again, the second of back-to-back. And look what Marshall's done at home this year. Pretty impressive. Double-digit wins over Georgia State and App, beating Western Michigan. I'm going to go Marshall. Lay the points.
Bet?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Middle Tennessee is heading to the Sun Bowl, best stadium in college football. All right. UTEP's laying 3. I'm going to lock this. UTEP -3.
Yeah.
I think Middle Tennessee is the worst team in the FBS. Probably them or Kennesaw.
They're both right there. And
no,
again,
UTEP's a little bit better to me.
This isn't a Wednesday night game and you're betting it?
Yes. That's why it's a sneaky one. They threw it on in the mix there, so no one finds it.
Yeah, this is the election. This is like, this is what we don't care about. This is what we're not paying attention to. You're crazy to bet this. Ultimately, I side with you. I'm going to take the home team at UTEP, but I'm not touching this.
All right, we'll talk on Sunday when I hit this. Tank. Patty C, what are you doing here?
I'm on MTSU. The home team is a factor, so that's why I wouldn't touch it either. But I think UTEP is just that bad that I'm going to favor Middle Tennessee on the road.
Wow. Okay. I'll see you. I can't wait for Sunday. Texas Tech, Iowa State. Series goes back to 1967. Gigantic game. Iowa State coming off the bye. What the hell's going on with this 14-point spread?
Well, Morton's banged up. He's like
playing. I hear he's starting.
Playing.
I hear he's starting.
You know who I'm betting. Look, 2 weeks ago, Texas Tech finally burned me after cashing 4 weeks in a row. What did I do? I went back to the well last week. They were getting like 6.5 against TCU. It was insane. Obviously, they cover.
They should have
lose
won
barely.
that game. They choked. Yeah.
I bet Texas Tech every week. I'm not going to switch it up now. Let's go.
I'm with you. And look, Texas Tech won the last time they played names. 14 points is gigantic. And what the hell is going on here? Give me Texas Tech plus 14. Patty C, what are you doing here? Lock it up, by the way.
Yes, I'm with you.
Is Rocco back banged up a little bit? Not sure. I know he was
But no, they're coming off a bye.
Now your blonde-haired, blue-eyed running back's a little banged up. Carson Hansen, is that his name?
Carson Handsome. No, I'm with you guys. I think Texas Tech has been playing good football, and I think Iowa State's been squeaking by. So even at home, maybe eventually we're going to have to respect Iowa State. This could be their game where they do what BYU did last week. Granted, BYU did it on the road. Still, 14 points is too many, and I got Texas Tech covering.
I always argue also that Texas Tech quarterback is meaningless. He's like a running back for Army.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even when they had Patrick Mahomes, they went like 6-6.
Yeah.
So even if Morton's out, they got some other dude that can sling it for a 350 or so.
Yeah. That's a system thing.
Yeah. I have had, just for the record, NC Nick, I have been horrible going against Iowa State all year. So, you do have that going for, against you.
Damn it. Why don't you pick them?
14 points. Let's go to Orlando. The very Golden Knights of UCF are taking on the Arizona Wildcats. David Mottola has already started drinking this season. He thought they were contenders in the Big 12 this year. Arizona Wildcats looking like dog shit. They're catching 6.5 at the bounce house. I'll lay the 6.5 with UCF, but I don't love the game here. Nick?
I mean, Arizona's lost 4 straight, but Central Florida's lost 5 straight. You could probably argue 2 of the most disappointing teams in the nation. Ultimately, I agree with you. I think the quarterback change and the people that have left UCF, I think they're playing a little bit better now. And Arizona, I think, is still on that downward trajectory. So I will go with the very Golden Knights.
Patty?
I'm going to say both of these teams have just had really hard schedules. I mean, if you look at the losses, they're against some pretty good teams. Obviously, losing to West Virginia last week at home was embarrassing, but their other losses are understandable. BYU, Colorado, K-State, even Texas Tech. Beating Utah on the road. Arizona is not that bad, but UCF's losses are more impressive. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go Arizona. I'm going to go Arizona on the road. Hey, I want to hear you give this some shit. You give USC Colorado or USC Maryland all the shit in the world. You're a Big 12 guy. Let's give this game a little shit.
No, this is better than that. At least because Maryland's crowd is half empty. UCF will pack the crowd, which saves the game some.
It's better, but it's still a terrible geographic matchup. I don't even know if these teams have ever played each other.
They haven't. There's this thing on the corner in the screen saying first matchup in the top left.
Oh shit. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm all for throwing shade at the Big 12, but I don't necessarily mind this matchup either. It's not as offensive as USC at Maryland for some reason.
It's because Maryland doesn't deserve any of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Maryland being a part of the party is ridiculous. Same with Rutgers. You know what I mean? That's part of what's like UCF has earned this. Like, their fan base is great. You know what I mean? Even though we argue with them all the time, like, they show up, they support college football. So
like distance wise is pretty comparable, but for some reason, Southern California to Maryland just seems further.
Yeah,
I'm sure it is by a little bit, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's also not nearly as comparable of like teams in terms of overall quality. Typically, usually that'll be a blowout. And I don't know, the Big 12, the culture, like Colby just said, of both, well, at least UCF, but maybe Arizona too, much better football culture than Maryland, at least.
Yeah. All right. Coastal Carolina, the Cox are heading to Troy, Alabama to take on the Trojans. Coastal's laying 4.5. I will take Coastal here. And I thought about betting this. NC Nick, you can talk me into taking these Chanticleers, but they've burned me a couple of times this year. What are you doing here in Troy, Alabama?
Yeah, I'm not going to touch this one. I do think Coastal's a better team. I mean, Troy's just 1-7, but if anything, the line should be maybe a little bit higher. Coastal's lost 3 out of 4. They're probably not very good either. That like big win over Jacksonville State seems so long ago. It seems like 2 years ago rather than this year. I'm gonna go Coastal, but I'm not betting this.
Patty?
It is interesting that Coastal just has definitely dropped off. Still, 4 points. Is it 4.5?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Give me Coastal and lock it up.
Woo! There we go. Patty C locking up the Chanticleers at the vet there in Troy, Alabama. Navy is heading to Houston, Texas. This is the one NC Nick was referring to in the part A of the episode there. The series
that also doesn't seem like this podcast. That seems like 2 podcasts ago.
Yeah. Series goes back to 1951. Navy's laying 11 at the Rice Bowl. Give me Rice to cover this 11. I don't know.
I'm kind of with D Bettis here. I'm with Navy. I'm thinking of locking up Navy. I think the 1 game bump does not apply when you have to face a triple option team. That's when you want
a good
continuity.
Point.
That's what you got to be focused.
D Bettis has been red hot too.
It has. Let's lock up Navy here. Let's go.
All right.
Don't fade America again, Colby. Didn't you learn your lesson?
Yeah, let's go. I'll take Navy. Here's a tuck job for you. Yeah, I'll lock it up. Let's go. It's just fun betting the service academies. You feel better about life. All right.
And Rice, say this. Rice, number 30 overall defense, but number 9 passing defense, number 87 rushing defense. That's probably because teams are ahead and rushing on them, and no one needs to pass on them. But either way, Navy being such a rush dominant team suggests that, that plays into their favor.
It's also the way Navy lost. Like, they got blown out, but like a lot of those turnovers were like
self-inflicted.
They weren't even like Notre Dame being great defensively. It was like just stupid plays. They get it right.
Are you scared of the home field environment at Rice?
The Rice Bowl? I mean, I love that stadium. No, let's take Navy. Patty, you coming with?
Yeah.
Oh, triple lock.
Triple lock.
Let me see if I can quickly dial up that music. Let's go. Triple lock on the Navy midshipman.
Blake Horvath is electric. He is an electric runner.
All right, moving forward. Wyoming is heading into New Mexico. Series goes back to 1912. Mexico gave us a dud last week. New Mexico's laying 7.5. I got no idea. I'll lay the 7.5 just because. Well, the Wyoming's the team I was wrong about most this season.
1-7.
Yeah,
they're so bad. I don't even understand it. They brought back like 20 starters. It's like, what? You were good last year. I'll take New Mexico. No wager here. Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I agree. Especially when it jumped. I think this morning I saw a 6.5, but now I'm seeing what you show 7.5. So I'll still go to Mexico. You never want to really get behind Wyoming on the road, but I'm not touching this.
Patty?
Let me say this. Maybe Wyoming is slowly turning the corner because their losses have become by less and less. In fact, San Diego State 3-point loss on the road against San Jose State, only 10. 2-point loss at home against Utah State. So I think all of those teams are better than New Mexico. So I think Wyoming covers 7.5.
Giving us a little tuck job there in Albuquerque. I like it, folks. I want to tell you the college football experience is brought to you by Rhythm. SGPN's proud partner, Rhythm, is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds to get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, props. You can copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or you could build your own like old Pick Dundee here. I do like to build my own and then have it adjust around that. Rhythm gives you predictions for every game and player prop, and also has a slew of stats, research, and trend analysis to give you even more betting insight. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. We're also brought to you by BetUS. Bet with the best in the business. That is BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. You could easily deposit using cryptocurrency and get lightning fast payouts. BetUS is live with the Trick or Treat on Horror Street from now until Halloween. So you got 2 days here to get it in. They'll be offering daily promotions plus a raffle entry to win a sports or casino prize pack. And once again, they'll give that away on Halloween, October 31st. There, you can enter multiple times, and every time you deposit $200, you get an entry. So get on over there, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betus. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betus. Promo code SGPN, so they know we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sports book. All right, next up, we jump to a classic in the SEC. This is the third time
the two worst teams in the SEC.
Yes, the two worst teams in the SEC going at it. Third time they've been playing since 2016, which is, I think, cross division. You know, Tennessee only plays Tennessee only plays Texas A&M once every 20 years. So
it's
somehow,
true. I mean, UMass is in the SEC East, obviously.
Yes,
so.
yes, the SEC East there. As they come into Stark Vegas, Mississippi State laying 18. It's just too many points for this. In a rivalry game, like I said, you met 3 times since 2016. They're gonna know what the bastards think. So I'm gonna take the 18 in UMass. Don Brown may just be dancing in Stark Vegas. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
No, I'm gonna take Mississippi State. Look, the Van B boys might have took it on the chin last week, but Michael Van Buren still threw for over 300. So I'm not betting on Northeast FBS football. Give me Mississippi State.
Patty C, what are you doing here in Stark Vegas?
Here's another one where you have some throwaway stats potentially. UMass, the number 6 passing defense in the country, which is, with Mississippi State, presumably their strength. Kevin Coleman is a top 20 receiver. Also, Mario Craver, big play receiver for Mississippi State. I don't think that stat is reflective of UMass's ability to stop the pass. So I do think Mississippi State dominates them and covers 18 at home.
Guys, I think we need to mention this. I love reading, people shitting on us in the chat, and especially when it's really bad English. Done listening to you turd stains for during the week games.
Well, what's he getting at? I've been absolutely on fire this week. I'm sorry, not this week, this season on weekday games. Like, honestly, I couldn't be better. It's by far the best I've been in my life on weekday games. Now, yes, I'm currently sweating out some action, but I did hit on the only game that's gone final.
Starts next week too.
Yeah. So
and it doesn't help that the quarterback for Texas State, George McLeod, Sun Belt Player of the Year from last year, gets hurt. So who knows? I mean, at some point we do have to give Louisiana credit. They're playing pretty good ball, and they're probably going to be in the Sun Belt championship game, especially with this win.
True.
But if Jordan McLeod plays the whole game, maybe things are different.
Well, did you pick these games? I don't think we got to these.
Yeah, you're talking about tonight's game. Well, they're on the picks page at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I locked up Florida International, which hit against New Mexico State. So I mean, we can't be. What's going on here? Relax. All right. I'm having an unbelievable season on the weekday games.
Well, I appreciate him calling us turd stains, though. That fits. That's fair. That's fair.
I do appreciate that.
I haven't heard that one in a while.
It needs to come back. Just turds in general. Turd stains. I haven't heard it in a fucking really long time.
That's
all right. Moving along. Hawai'i, Fresno State. Since 1938, they've been playing. Fresno State's laying 14. It's too many points. Gimme the boys from the island.
The island boys. Nick made a reference to the island boys that I think went over both of our heads last week. But
I know. I was expecting a better response, and
I didn't catch it till later. I was like, "Oh, that's what he was saying." What is their deal? Are they brothers, or there's something really, really perverse about?
Matter.
Yeah, let's not go there.
I'm taking the 14 though. They cover this. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Look, Hawai'i and Wyoming University are complete opposites in some regards, in most regards. But I don't like to take either team on the road, so I would go Fresno.
Patty?
Apparently, this is Hawaii's biggest rival, based on, I guess, I thought, incredibly accurate map that some fan drew a few weeks back. So if that's true, maybe Hawai'i gets up for this game. I know Fresno State's been down, so I'll go Hawai'i.
Let's go. All right. Arizona State, Oklahoma State, the Island Boys. That's what he's referring to.
Which was Patty? Which was Colby?
Dude, they're hardcore. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Fucking gangsters.
Guys, Arizona State's heading to Stillwater. They're laying 3 against Gundy in the mullet there. I'm surprised how bad Oklahoma State is this year, but I think they are playing better. So give me Oklahoma State +3. I don't feel good about this though. Nick, what are you doing here?
Well, we've seen the line move up a little bit because I guess Leavitt is 60% chance he'll play as of, I don't know, a few hours ago. I kind of agree, Colby. I think Oklahoma State's lost 5 in a row, other than Florida State. Florida State's the biggest disappointment across the whole country, right? Obviously, easy pick.
Yeah, then Wyoming.
Well, then Oklahoma State's in the mix. I mean, 5 in a row, but let me take it one more time. I mean, they did cover against BYU a couple weeks ago. Let's go, Pokes.
Patty C?
Well, I know this was one we looked forward to as far as desert football picking up. They've only played 5 times all time. Oklahoma State leads 3-2, but got both of those over the last 2 years. I think Arizona State evens the score up 3-3 all time and gets the win on the road. So whether they cover 3, it's going to be close, but I'll take Sun Devils to get it done.
All right, Georgia Southern's heading to Mobile, South Alabama to take on the Jaguars there. South Alabama's laying 6.5. I'm going to lay it with we've entered the Clay Helton. I tried to tell you guys that
I was on them last week.
That Old Dominion was going to fuck them up. This is where Clay Helton loses every game. So we load up on South Alabama -6.5. It cashes. NC Nick, you coming?
You know what? I think he swayed me. My initial reaction was to go Georgia Southern, but South Alabama's offense is dangerous, and we love Fluff Bothwell. What did he do last week?
We should bet this game. To our right's point, I think we should bet on South Alabama.
You think so?
You think Clay Helton does this every year?
Yeah, Fluff averaged 7 yards a carry, 17 for 119 and 2 touchdowns, and he didn't even lead his team in rushing. Kentrell Bullock ran for 141. I'm on board. Let's go. South Alabama, lock it up.
Let's go.
Win last week.
Double lock against Georgia Southern. Patty C, what are you doing here?
I mean, well, it's tough because some of the losses that South Alabama have taken are understandable. At Ohio, at LSU, of course, that you would expect them to lose at least the LSU game. They have been explosive at times, but I also think Georgia Southern has been pretty explosive at times. Still, that spread is 6.5 in South Alabama's favor. I think I'm going to go Georgia Southern.
Buddy, you gotta remember what's happening here. It's mid-October. Georgia Southern turns into the worst team in college football.
Dude, the leaves are falling. We're buying pumpkins and stuff, and Georgia Southern starts losing football games.
Exactly. It goes hand in hand with
that cha-cha-cha offense shut down.
Yeah, we have data on this. So yeah, let's go. USC, Washington, Pac-12. We're back. Series goes, but it's 101 years old. 1923 it goes back to. USC's laying 2.5 in Seattle. Give me USC -2.5. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, this is kind of a tough one here, but I might teeter towards the Trojans.
You might cock it. You might cock toward the Trojan. You know,
I might teeter towards those Trojans.
Put that Trojan on your cock.
Can NC Nick have a new nickname called Teeter?
Was that a guy in what's that Texas high school football movie?
Tweeter. That's Tweeter.
Okay, yeah. Whatever. I mean, it's tough because I think USC's the better team, but Washington does have a good home field advantage. This is going to be, I think, like USC wins like 34-31 or something. I'll take the Trojans.
Patty C, what are you doing here?
I'm going opposite of both of you guys again. Give me Washington. They're the far better team recently, certainly. And at home as dogs, give me Washington. Tempting to lock.
Ooh, that confident.
Yes.
Mike Elko and A&M. They're a real program. Talking shit. Love it. Heading into Williams-Brice to take on South Carolina. A&M's laying 2.5 on the road. This is a dangerous spot for them, man. You get a huge win against LSU. Give me the Gamecocks at home to take care of business against A&M. Nick?
Everything about this game is dangerous. The spot, the situation, the line. I like South Carolina here too. Hopefully, I'm not getting too cute, but it's not like A&M, the only team left that's undefeated in conference in the SEC. It's not like they're that dominant. I think the Gamecocks might surprise them. Give me South Carolina.
There we go. Tweeter's with me, or no, Teeter is with me.
Between that and Nanner Pudding, Nick's got fire terms.
Hey, Teeter, you're doing a great job over there, Teeter. Seeing eye to eye here. Yes,
I don't know, Colby. Maybe that's going to be your country name now that you're moving out of the bright lights of Hollywood and down to Southern North Carolina.
Yeah.
Teeter,
right. Old Teeter Dent.
Give me that's not a teeter. This is a teeter. Look, Mike Elko, youtube.com/the college experience, saying this is a real program. It's not fake. It's not a politician running this program, talking fast and BSing everybody. Who do we think? I thought that was towards Sarkisian and maybe Texas University. Some say Brian Kelly, some say Jimbo Fisher, but those are previously his bosses, so I would imagine they're his friends.
So who do we say we thought that's aimed at Texas then?
Well, Brian Kelly and his family. I mean, he is an ultimate politician, unlike some, or similar to some other politicians that might change their tone of voice or their accent depending on where they're at in the country. So maybe it is old Brian Kelly he's talking about.
Anyway,
low key shots fired.
Patty C, what are you doing in this game?
Look, I think it comes down to this: is that South Carolina has played great football. I think on the spot, yes. Although Elko doesn't strike me as the guy that's going to have that huge letdown. I think he's probably pretty even keel and gets his guys up for this game again. But it's hard, to get up for South Carolina just because that 4-3 record doesn't inspire like a lot of excitement. So they're coming off the bye. They're hosting. It's their homecoming. 7:30 p.m. Primetime spot. I do think South Carolina money line play is a possibility. And here's the other thing: Texas A&M isn't a sexy enough brand that they're going to screw over South Carolina. And I think whether it be LSU and Alabama, both kind of got beneficial calls against South Carolina. I don't think A&M is going to get that. So maybe karma comes back to favor South Carolina money line.
Should we bet South Carolina?
No, just because A&M has been playing solid football, and Elko's a darn good coach.
I'm not going to.
I might bet that. Louisville's heading to Clemson. Clemson's laying 10.5. Louisville's never beaten Clemson. Louisville with a magical win last week.
They
were getting their ass kicked. No, because against Miami they should have won. Or I don't know if they should have.
UVA was a kind of magical win.
Yeah. I think we lock up Clemson here minus 10.5 because I think this place will be rocking, and I think Clemson will put it on them. So I am locking up Clemson minus 10.5. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I'm on the same side as you. I'm on Clemson. I personally don't think Louisville's all that good this year. I mean, they're still well coached. They still have some talent, and they still, play hard. So they're in every game, and I mean, they've been playing mostly. I mean, I guess their last 5 games, there's some good teams in there, but I just think Clemson at home, they are the far superior team. They've been waiting for like a statement game, and this is the closest they've had recently. So I'm on Clemson.
Patty?
Yeah, I'll give credit to Brom just because every time, even though Miami was clearly the far superiorly talented team, whether it be a kick return, a big play here, trick play there, Louisville always had an answer from a coaching standpoint that would keep them in the game.
The SMU, they got some bad calls against them, man. The SMU game, there's no way you overturn that fumble.
Yeah, Louisville's a fringe good team, and I do think they have some weapons. And I think actually this game will be close to this spread. But I think Clemson's just too physical for them. The home environment, it's close, but I'll tilt. I'll teeter to Clemson.
At this point, I think Clemson's their one loss to Georgia is. I think everybody's giving Miami the love, assuming that they're the best team in the ACC. I definitely think it's Clemson.
Yes, I don't think Miami's that good.
I don't know though, because when I see that matchup, I just think Miami has way better weapons. So when it comes down to it, actually think Miami could win that game in the ACC championship, but it's close.
I think Clemson has some weapons. They're just young. I think some of those like freshman receivers are playing really good. Antonio Williams, another good receiver. They're young. They're not as proven weapons on the outside, but they might surprise you.
Klubnik has also turned the rare, regular running quarterback turning into an elite running quarterback. So he's a difference maker too. So that is going to be a good game at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Assuming they play.
Yeah. I'm locking it up. Lay the 10.5. Let's go. Wisconsin's heading to Iowa. Take on the Hawkeyes. Iowa's laying 6.5. The over under at 41.5. I was a little bit surprised at that number. Series goes back to 1894. But then I think Iowa's more of a complete team than Wisconsin, and Braden Locke just throws away. Like he's due for 2 pick sixes in this game. So I will take Iowa minus 6.5. No wager though.
6.5. Is that the line now?
Really? That's what I fuck this up?
3.
Did I mess this up?
Earlier today, I saw 3. Let me see what it is now.
Yeah, no, it's 3. My bad. Well, obviously, I'm taking Iowa.
Shit, at 6.5, I might take Wisconsin, but at 3, I'm definitely taking Iowa. I mean, I think we saw what Wisconsin was when they played a real live defense. They couldn't crack 300 yards at home against Penn State. After looking really good against Purdue, Rutgers, Northwestern, in Iowa City, we go Iowa.
Yeah, I mean 3. I actually think could be a lock.
I mean, I don't know how you can say Iowa's a complete team. They're number 128 in offense in the nation. They are still a very one-sided team. They're a very good defensive team,
but they're scoring more points than they used to.
I'll go Iowa at home minus 3 and lock it up.
Let's lock it up. The special teams always a force.
Their last 2 home games, Iowa has beat Washington 40-16 and Northwestern 40-14.
Those are impressive numbers. That's true. So maybe I tilt toward Iowa. But Wisconsin, I think, is a good team too. I mean, let's be honest. They had the lead for a decent portion of that game against Penn State, if I'm not mistaken. I know Penn State took the lead and then pulled away, but it wasn't complete domination all game long. Wisconsin showed up. So I think that might give them leverage early if they score against Iowa and Iowa can't match them. Ultimately, though, I think Iowa fights and gets the win. But 3 points sounds about right. But I'll tilt Iowa.
Yeah. Lock it up. Iowa's gonna win.
I'm with you.
This is 27-10. Let's go. 27-13, something like that. Kentucky, Tennessee. Let's keep this lock train going because as much as Tennessee's owned this rivalry, GVO Farms will remind you of that. And this series does go back to 1883, but 16.5 points. It's too much. Give me Kentucky in the points. Tennessee's offense is still ass. I will take those points. I think Kentucky stays within that number. It's not even that crazy of a money line play because I don't think Tennessee's offense is that good. So I think it's going to be a close game. We saw Kentucky win at Ole Miss. They run a similar offense to what Tennessee does. I think lock up Kentucky. Patty?
Kentucky's still the number 21 defense in the nation, despite playing some pretty good teams. So that's an impressive stat there. And I think you're right. I think as long as there's a tough job to be made at comparing Tennessee and Ole Miss, they're kind of mirror images a little bit. So yeah, I would expect Kentucky to be able to hang. I will say the blackout Halloween uniforms, the primetime spot, a little might help Tennessee a little bit, but still, it's a few too many points. So I'm going to go Kentucky too.
Nick?
Agreed, but I don't plan on betting it. I mean, Kentucky's lost 3 in a row, and their offense is worse than Tennessee's. So I'm not going to touch them on the road, but I do think they cover.
All right. The Pitt Panthers are heading to SMU. Game of the year in the ACC potentially, and they put it on ACC Network Plus. Series goes back to 1938. Good job. What's the commissioner of the ACC again?
Swafford or
Jim,
who is
Jim Phillips.
Phillips.
Good job, Jim Phillips. Just marketing your product well.
Well, it's not him. I mean, he doesn't get to choose which games. I mean, unfortunately, Pitt and SMU don't have the name Miami or Clemson.
Still, it's top 25. How the fuck does it end up on this?
One of 2 games with
a lot of people
teams.
don't get that network, buddy.
Well, most people do. I mean, YouTube TV has it. It's not like it's Pac-12 network where
It's
nobody
two big
has it.
cities, Dallas and Pittsburgh. You know, that should
Yeah.
attract a certain number of fans.
Yeah, look at that. Duke, Miami is on ABC at noon. Are you fucking kidding me?
Miami, yeah. TV people love Miami, especially
Pitt and
especially in
SMU.
undefeated Miami.
This is stupid. I'm sorry. This is a
yes,
failure by them. Yeah.
Have we ever known the TV executives to be smart?
No, except for when they brought back Tour of Duty. Anyone know that show?
Yes.
Knight Rider.
Dude,
Well,
if you ever try to watch Tour of Duty as an adult,
It's
you're like,
so bad.
This show sucks.
When you're 5 years old, it was genius. It was like, look at this. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is ridiculous. By the way, Pitt's live to win this thing. RJ Maryland's out for the year. I think Pitt plus the points is the play. Lock it up. And I also think sprinkle a little bit on that money line. Patty C, what are you doing here?
I think Pitt has been fortunate in a lot of games this year. SMU, Kevin Jennings, maybe turnover filled outing last time they played, but I still think he's such a dynamic player that it's going to be a lot for Pitt to handle. I think the SMU crowd is going to show out. So give me 7.5 though. You're right. It's Pitt. The hook scares me.
NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Well, it's interesting because I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I have not seen any line movement. I think, as far as I know, it opened at 7.5 and it stayed at 7.5, at least from when I first saw it.
Holstein is questionable, but he's going to play.
Yeah.
Jennings is questionable too.
I think both of them play. I mean, if you're going by like NFL logic, you lay the hook, but I'm on Pitt here. I just think that this is a close game, and I don't see why any team should be favored by more than a touchdown, even by a touchdown. I think it's the real line should be -4, so it kind of stinks here. So give me Pitt though. I'll dive into it and I'll lock it up.
Wow. Let's go. Double lock on the Pitt Panthers. Patty C, you want to come?
No, I think Pitt has been living on a prayer, and it might finally come crashing down here.
Shout out to Shoe Math. Colby is the best in all the land. That's not my burner, NC Nick.
You might want to check your math there, Shoe Math, if you think Colby's the best in the land.
Let's go. All right. Colorado State's heading into Reno. I ate shit on Nevada last week as they went to the island. This series goes back to 1974. Colorado State's lay at 1.5. The over-under at 45.5. Jay Norvell Bowl here. The hatred is high. I'm taking Nevada to beat Colorado State at home. I'm going back to the well. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I'm going to go Rams. You know, it hasn't been pretty, but Colorado State is 3-0 in the Mountain West, surprisingly. I think they pull out another close one and cover in the process against Nevada.
Patty?
I mean, Nevada's losses, I guess, have been pretty respectable, pretty close losses, but Colorado State's getting it going. Winners of 4 of the last 5. I think they keep it rolling here. So give me Colorado State to cover 1.5, even on the road.
Final game on the slate, TCU Baylor goes back to the 1800s in Waco, Texas here. Baylor's laying 3. I was surprised that Baylor was favored. Were you guys?
Yes. Although this seems like a pretty evenly matched game.
I'm going to lay the 3. They're telling you with the line. Baylor -3. Nick, what are you doing here?
I'm going to lay the 3 with Baylor, and I'm going to lock it up. And even though I know that TCU has owned this series, winning 8 of the last 9, but I think it's a job saver for Aranda. I think Sawyer Robertson, the Baylor quarterback's playing good ball at night. Baylor's they're going to pack those stands out. It's going to be lit. I think they win this and cover. I'm going to lock up Baylor.
Woo, I like that. And that would move them to 5-4 if they get to a bowl game. Maybe he could salvage his job. Patty C, what are you doing here?
You know, this rivalry, a lot of people would argue that this is TCU's number 1 rival. Some would say SMU, but certainly since they're both in the Big 12 and have played some excellent games, great night game here. Yeah, maybe even though I think TCU is the better team and the stats back me up there, I think the home spot in the primetime gives Baylor the win. 3 points is pretty close, but I'll take Baylor to cover that.
All right, folks, that is our show. We give away our top locks now before we leave. I just think we do a round robin with Vanderbilt on the money line there against Auburn. That's 1. I That's probably one of the locks I feel best about. How could you fade the pisser at this point? I would say after that, I will put Nebraska on the card.
Ooh.
I like Nebraska against. Now I know that wouldn't be in the round robin, but against UCLA is one of the ones I feel strongest about. And then it's hard to power rank your favorite plays. Give me UTEP as the third one.
What? Are you serious?
I think Middle Tennessee is that bad.
Oh my goodness.
So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. My 3 favorite plays. I'll take Vandy. I'll take Ohio State and Texas Tech.
Wow. Patty?
Give me Jacksonville State over Liberty. Give me UNC over Florida State, and give me Navy over Rice.
Oh, the Navy one is good. No, I'm sticking with UTEP. Let's go, folks. That's our show. Give Patty C a follow on Twitter at PattyC831. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. NC Nick's on Twitter at NC__NICK. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Don't forget to hop over to Spotify. Give us 5 stars. That always helps us, folks. Also, YouTube.com/The College Experience. Hit that like and subscribe button. Till next time. And I'll be back. We're going to have a secure setup soon. All right. So appreciate the patience on some of these shows that we normally get done that we haven't been able to. Just a couple days away from being home. Moving's the fucking worst. But till next time, folks. Shout out to Noah Beanick, by the way, on the boards, doing great work behind the scenes, showing us all this stuff. Even showed you exclusive photos of his LeBaron. So that is job well done. Anyway, folks, till next time. This is the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.